Auntie is 18 years older than me. Jiangcheng University. Noon. Suyan, what's with you? What's wrong, bro? So you still remember I'm your bro, huh? Last night, when you saw my mom, what was with that look in your eyes? Hey, it's a misunderstanding, bro. I just thought Auntie looked a lot like a friend of mine, no other meaning, I swear. Suyang looked a bit awkwardly at his bro Yangxia, quickly waving his hands. The two were classmates at Jiangcheng University. Although Yangxia was a girl, her style was almost indistinguishable from a guy's, even down to her voice. Suyang was her only close friend, and they got along well. Yesterday was Yangxia's birthday, and she invited Suyang over to her place. But when Suyang saw Yangxia's mother, she seemed eerily familiar, almost like someone he knew from his dreams. Since he was little, he often dreamed of a young, beautiful girl. She felt so familiar, yet he could never remember who she was. When he saw Yangxia's mother, Yang Shui, his mind went blank. The girl in his dreams and Yang Shui looked strikingly alike. Yang Shui had seemed equally stunned when she saw Suyang. They locked eyes for a solid 10 seconds. Though she looked shocked, Yang Shui didn't show it too obviously and quickly retreated to her room, never coming out again. What was supposed to be a joyful birthday dinner had been awkwardly interrupted by Suyang's arrival, leaving Yang Xia feeling a bit annoyed. Let me tell you, Suyang, you better not get any weird ideas. We're brothers, but if you even think about hitting on my mom, I won't let it slide. Smack. Yang Xia looked exasperated and gave Suyang a slap on the shoulder. She regretted bringing him home last night. She'd clearly seen his expression when he met her mom, eyes fixed, mouth open like he'd just seen his dream girl. Come on, Yang Xia. I'm not that shameless. I just thought she looked a lot like a friend of mine. That's all, seriously. Suyang quickly shook his head, rubbing his shoulder where she'd hit him. HMPH, that's more like it. Hearing Suyang say this, Yang Xia's annoyed expression finally softened. By the way, come back with me after school today. What? Your house again? Suyang was caught off guard, his heart suddenly pounding. Why did the thought of seeing Yang Xia's mom make his heart race? Yeah, my mom also said you look like an old friend of hers, and she wants to talk to you. Yang Xia smirked. Hey, Suyang, do you think your dad might have been my mom's old flame? Har har. Oh. Suyang blinked, briefly lost in thought. How was that even possible? Yang Xia's mom was a powerful CEO, a remarkable woman, while his dad was a humble, hard-working shopkeeper. Could they even have crossed paths? Probably not. Suyang muttered, shaking his head. Who knows? Anyway, just come with me after school. All right, I'm heading back to the dorm. Bye. Yang Xia flipped her short hair, gave a casual wave, and left. Watching her walk away, Suyang couldn't help but think about her mother. Yang Xia's mom was so similar to the girl from his dreams. Strangely, just the thought of seeing her again made his heart pound. The afternoon classes were tough to sit through, and Suyang, usually a diligent student, kept zoning out. Finally, school ended. Let's go, Suyang. Come home with me. Yeah, all right. My mom's not back yet. Come on, let us play some games in my room. All right. Suyang nodded, following her to her room. He'd always seen Yang Xia as just a friend, so he didn't give much thought to entering her space. Yang Xia, your room is such a mess. So what? I'm a true bro. Her mom often criticized her for not acting like a girl, but Yang Xia did as she pleased. She never took it seriously, and her room was always a mess. Her mother, Yang Shui, was usually busy, so she only occasionally helped clean up. Just as they sat down and turned on the computer, they heard the front door open. My mom's back. Forget the games, let us go out and say hi. Oh okay, suddenly, Suyang's heart began pounding again. Chapter 2, You look like an old friend of mine. Following Yang Xia out of her room, Suyang immediately saw Yang Shui, who had just entered the house. Hello, Auntie. Suppressing his racing heartbeat, Suyang greeted her politely. After all, his buddy Yang Xia was right there. Staring too long at her mom would be a bad look. But he was utterly confused, unable to understand his own emotions, as though something deep within him was surfacing without reason. Hello, Suyang. Yang Shui acknowledged him with a nod, her face calm. Xia, go back to your room. I have something I'd like to discuss with Suyan. Oh, and I ordered some takeout for tonight. Oh, okay, Mom. With a simple nod, Yan Xia agreed and went back to her room. Come with me. Once Yan Xia had left and closed her door, Yan Shui glanced at Suyan. Her gaze flickered slightly, hinting at a turmoil beneath her composed exterior. She led Suyan to the study. The door closed. Have a seat, Suyan. Thank you. Auntie. Suyan noticed her gaze flickering, sensing her own unease. Inside the study was a tea table. Once they both sat down, Yan Shui skillfully began brewing tea, her graceful movements as fluid as water. Suyan watched quietly, not intending to start the conversation. After the water boiled, she poured the tea and placed a cup before him. Suyan, you look very much like an old friend of mine. With that, she stood, opened the cabinet behind her, and retrieved a small wooden box. The box was locked. After unlocking it, she took out a small framed photo and handed it to him. Take a look. Suyan carefully took the frame. With just one glance, he froze. This looked exactly like him. Besides the clothing, there was no difference in appearance or build. Looking up, he met Yan Shui's intense gaze, full of an indescribable sorrow and longing. Auntie, this person in the photo? Yes, he was a dear friend of mine. Yan Shui nodded, still staring fixedly at him, studying his face intently, almost making him feel self-conscious. An 18-year-old boy, stared at by a beautiful, mature woman. It felt a bit strange, especially since she was his friend's mother. By the way, Suyan, what's your father's name? Oh, my father's name is Sukan. Suyan was taken aback. What did his father have to do with this? Besides, his father didn't look much like the person in the photo. Sukan. Yang Shui murmured, then shook her head slightly. No one she knew went by that name. Auntie, what's the name of the person in this photo? Suyan asked, handing the frame back to her. His name was also Suyan. Oh, that really was a coincidence. Not only did this person look identical to him, but they even shared the same name. 18 years ago, my friend was also 18 when I first saw you yesterday. I thought, for a moment, that he'd come back. Oh, so was he your boyfriend? Seeing the sadness and nostalgia in her eyes, it wasn't hard for Suyan to guess the nature of their relationship. Yes. Yan Shui raised her gaze to him again, a faint trace of loss in her eyes. The two of you look so very much alike except that he had a small blue mole on his right arm. Some say a mole is a mark of the soul. Suyan felt another shock. Could this really be such a coincidence? He rolled up his sleeve, revealing the small blue mole on his right arm, a mark he'd had since birth, according to his parents. Yan Shui's eyes widened in surprise, and she suddenly stood, grabbing his arm. Yes. That was exactly the spot. The shape, size, and color were identical. Yan Shui's hand trembled slightly as she clutched his arm. Why? How could two people look so alike? Could this be her lost lover, returning to find her? Without realizing it, her eyes began to mist with tears. Auntie. Feeling slightly awkward with her grasping his arm so closely, Suyan didn't know what to do. This was his friend's mom, after all. Ding ding ding. Just then, Yan Shui's phone rang, bringing her back to her senses. She quickly released his arm. Ms. Yan, your delivery has arrived. Please come to the door. All right, I'll be there soon. With that, Yan Shui hurried out of the study. Until now, Suyan had told her about the dreams he'd had for years, thinking he'd wait until after she finished speaking. Though he had no concrete evidence, he felt there was definitely some extraordinary connection between them. He had a vague suspicion, which grew stronger the more they spoke, filling him with a strange excitement. The door opened. Yan Shui returned with 2 takeout boxes. Suyan, I didn't cook tonight, so we'll make do with this, okay? Her voice had softened somehow. Sure, thank you, Auntie. He watched as she sat down across from him, her expression hinting at something unusual. Chapter 3, Auntie, your smile is beautiful. Suyan, why are you looking at Auntie like that? Yan Shui glanced up, catching Suyan's slightly dazed expression, and couldn't help but smile. It felt as though the heartstrings she'd kept locked away for 18 years had suddenly been strummed. That familiar look, he really did resemble Suyan from 18 years ago. Could this young man before her really be heaven's way of giving her back what she had longed for? Could he be her lover from back then? Though Yang Shui couldn't be certain, a gentle breeze seemed to blow into the frozen parts of her heart, thawing the ice and bringing forth a faint touch of green. Auntie. Su Yang scratched his head awkwardly, giving a shy smile. Auntie, your smile is really beautiful. It was his most genuine thought. From the moment he had first seen her yesterday, to chatting now, this was the first time he'd seen Yang Shui smile. And in Su Yang's eyes it was truly captivating and enchanting. Really? Yang Shui's smile widened. Instead of being offended, she looked intently at Su Yang, her gaze holding a faint, subtle intensity. Yes, Auntie, he nodded. Your smile is really beautiful. Yang Shui's charming smile caused Su Yang's heartbeat to quicken, leaving him with a strange sense of excitement. Su Yang, are you and Yang Xia just good friends? She asked, catching him off guard. He'd been preparing to tell her about his dreams, but she beat him to the question. Yes, Auntie. We're just good buddies, we've been like that since our first day at university. He replied earnestly. Truly, with Yang Xia's tomboyish personality, it was sometimes hard to even remember she was a girl. Not a hint of romantic feeling between you two. It's okay, Su Yang. You can be honest. If there is something between you, Auntie will support you both. Yang Shui gave a soft smile, though there was a trace of worry in her gaze. No, Auntie, really. Yang Xia and I are just friends like brothers. I've always thought of her as one of the guys. Oh, all right. Yang Shui nodded, gesturing toward the food in front of him. Su Yang, don't just look at Auntie eat. Yes, let us eat. Su Yang chuckled sheepishly, quickly opening his meal box and picking up his chopsticks. Auntie, actually, I feel like I've seen you before. He took a bite, hesitantly glancing at Yang Shui, who was as elegant as ever. Eating with such a sophisticated woman made his meal feel all the more pleasant. Oh? Tell me about it. Yang Shui's eyes gleamed with interest, and she couldn't resist studying him again. The more she looked, the more she felt that this young man might indeed be the lover she had longed for, returned from 18 years ago. His manner of speaking, his posture, even the way he looked at her, all of it gave her a profound sense of familiarity. If he wasn't back, how could there be such a resemblance? Even the small blue mole on his arm was identical. In a daze, Yang Shui found herself back in time, 18 years ago. Su Yang? She couldn't resist gently caressing his cheek. In an instant, Su Yang felt as if he'd been struck by lightning, her warm, soft hand gently touching his face, her joyful gaze filled with indescribable affection. He was too shocked to speak, fearful that any word might shatter this strange and fragile atmosphere. After a moment, Yang Shui realized her momentary lapse and quickly retracted her hand, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, her cheeks turning a shade of pink. Auntie, actually, you might not believe this, but I promise it's true. Su Yang finally managed to find his voice, his heart still racing. Su Yang, stop teasing Auntie. Tell me. Her eyes filled with anticipation, she watched him intently. Looking at him now, her heart began to hold a faint reflection of a lover's image. All right, here it is. Su Yang began, his cheeks tinged with embarrassment. Since I was little, I've always dreamed of a young girl about 17 or 18. She wore a white dress with black polka dots. She looked exactly like Auntie. White dress with black polka dots. Yang Shui's eyes widened, a look of surprise flashing across her face. She immediately got up and pulled out an old photo album from the bookshelf behind her. Quickly flipping through, she found the photo she was looking for and held it up in front of Su Yang. Yes. Su Yang was stunned the moment he saw the picture. The girl in his dreams looked exactly like the one in the photo. The dress, the sandals, the bow in her hair, everything was identical. Auntie, was this you when you were young? He asked in awe. Yes, Yang Shui nodded, her voice laced with surprise. In my dreams, I saw a girl exactly like this, the same. Su Yang's eyes grew even wider with excitement. Really? Looking into Su Yang's eyes, Yang Shui was momentarily lost in thought, her mind racing with countless emotions. Yes, really. Su Yang nodded. Looking down at her hands, which had unconsciously come to rest on his arm, he felt his heart start to race again. They were sitting so close, the faint, mature scent that lingered on her filled his senses, making him feel slightly dizzy. Could it be as he suspected that she was truly his lover from a past life? How could there be so many coincidences otherwise? Why did he feel such a sense of familiarity with her at first sight? And why did his heart race, his emotions stir as if he were meeting a long-lost love? Chapter 4, The Lover Who Cannot Be Waited For. Is there anything else? After a brief moment, Yang Shui managed to regain her composure, quietly adjusting her emotions. She turned and sat back in her chair, picking up her chopsticks to continue eating slowly. But internally, she was far from calm. She clearly understood that the boy before her was only 18, the same age as her daughter. Yet, the information exchanged between them seemed to suggest one truth. The boy in front of her might very well be her lover from a past life, reincarnated to find her again. Actually, I've had quite a few dreams, but only your image is the one I remember most clearly. The others, I can't recall for now, Su Yang said after thinking for a moment. His mind was still in a bit of chaos, so he couldn't remember much else at the moment. Both of them had the same suspicions in their hearts, but neither of them dared to voice it out loud. Yang Shui thought he was her daughter's classmate, a good friend. Su Yang saw her as his classmate's mother. Oh, that's fine. Whenever you remember, you can tell Auntie, okay? I'm really interested in your dreams. Maybe we were very good friends in a past life, Yang Shui said, looking closely into Su Yang's eyes with a gentle smile. Yet, within her heart, the spring breeze she felt could no longer be held back. The way she looked at him now carried an indescribable emotion. No matter from which angle she viewed him, he resembled the boy she once loved deeply. She had kept him in her heart for 18 years. Who would have thought he would suddenly appear before her eyes now? How could she not be excited? How could she not be happy? Even if he was just an 18-year-old boy, it couldn't stop the passion within her. Okay, Auntie. Su Yang said, feeling his face flush slightly as he met her gaze. Her gaze was so captivating and intense. She stared at him without hiding anything, even exuding a hint of possessiveness. Here, Su Yang, this is my WeChat. Add me, and from now on, we'll be good friends, right? Yang Shui forced herself to calm her inner excitement and opened her WeChat QR code. Yeah, we're good friends. Su Yang answered without hesitation. Beep. With a crisp sound, Su Yang saw her WeChat name. The Lover Who Cannot Be Waited For. In an instant, Su Yang felt a wave of sorrow in his heart. The beautiful woman before him must be his lover from a past life, right? Now, in this new life. Who would have thought that he would meet her again? But since he didn't have the memories of his past life, all of this was just speculation. Su Yang, today, can you not tell Xia about this? I'm afraid she might overthink things. Okay, Auntie. Su Yang nodded. Even if Yang Shui had asked him, he wouldn't dare speak the truth. The photos in her small box were probably something Yang Xia had never seen before. Well, let's treat what we've discussed as our little secret, all right? Yang Shui looked at him gently, her eyes full of a melting affection. Okay, Auntie. Su Yang couldn't help but feel a bit dazed by her gaze. He could clearly feel that her attitude toward him had changed. Although she didn't say anything outright, he sensed an indescribable warmth and passion in her eyes. Then, if I contact you in the future, will you reply to me? Of course. Su Yang immediately replied without any hesitation. Good. Yang Shui looked at him, her heart beating rapidly. She was almost certain now. This boy in front of her was the reincarnation of her old lover. Although this might sound absurd, everything she had seen and felt told her it was true. She and her former lover, Su Yang, were childhood sweethearts. They later went to Jiangcheng University together. One day, while they were out shopping, a runaway dump truck suddenly came toward them. In a moment of danger, Su Yang pushed her out of the way. But he couldn't escape in time and was tragically caught under the wheels. Right in front of Yang Shui. This tragic incident was something she could never get over for the rest of her life. From then on, Yang Shui closed off her heart and never accepted any other man, all the way until now. But last night, she saw Su Yang again, alive and well in front of her, and it threw her into a state of confusion. She didn't rest well the entire night. Today, after talking with Su Yang, the heart that had been sealed for 18 years suddenly felt the warmth of spring, as the ice began to melt and everything started to revive. Soon, both of them finished their meal in a slightly awkward atmosphere. Su Yang, have some more tea. I'll go check on Xia, Yang Shui said, her eyes filled with an unspoken smile and tenderness. okay? Auntie. Suyang couldn't calm the excitement in his heart. He could clearly feel that her attitude toward him was no longer that of a normal friend. Her eyes were filled with joy, affection, and even a hint of possessiveness. A sort of irresistibly powerful warmth that left him almost unable to refuse. As she spoke, Yang Shui stood up, came over to Suyang's side, and lightly patted his shoulder. Then, she left the study. In Yang Xia's room, she had finished her meal and was fully absorbed in playing a game with her headphones on. Click. The door was pushed open as her mother entered. Mom. Yang Xia quickly switched her screen to the desktop. Silly girl, as long as your homework is done, you can play games all you want. I don't restrict you. Yang Shui said as she sat down beside her, gently patting her daughter's short hair. Mom, did you finish talking to Suyang? Yeah, we finished talking. Yang Shui smiled and gently touched her daughter's hair. If you let your hair grow longer and braid it, you'd look especially pretty. No, Mom. I still feel comfortable like this. But if you look like this, you might miss out on the boys who like you. Yang Shui smiled knowingly, as if expecting an answer. Chapter 5, No, I have to make things clear. What? Mom, what did you just say? Hearing this, Yang Xia was taken aback, looking up at her mother with wide eyes. I'm saying Suyang is a good kid. He is the child of a close friend of mine. Mom, Har suddenly recalling the funny thought she had while chatting with Suyang, Yang Xia couldn't help but burst into laughter. Silly girl, what is so funny? Mom, you're not seriously involved with Suyang's dad, are you? Har. You little rascal. Can't I just be good friends with his dad? And stop changing the subject, this is about you. Alright, go on about me. Holding back her laughter, Yang Xia turned to her mother with a curious look. Stop playing dumb, you've never brought a boy home before, and Suyang is the first. Do you really think I wouldn't notice? Yang Shui gently touched her daughter's short hair, sighing softly. Her little girl had never really shown any interest in the usual girly things. Oh, Mom, you're totally overthinking it. I've never brought a boy home, sure, but I haven't brought any girlfriends over either. Suyang and I are just good buddies, there's never been any thought of being more than friends. Wait. Mom, did Suyang say he liked me or something? No way. I need to set things straight with him. As she spoke, Yang Xia shot up from her seat. Is this some kind of joke? If you keep saying things like this, we won't even be able to stay good friends. Come back here. Yang Shui reached out, grabbing her daughter's arm. Silly girl, wasn't I just trying to get some information out of you? Why the big reaction? Sit down, silly. What I'm saying is, Suyang is a really nice boy and he is also the child of a close friend of mine. No, Mom, I seriously don't have any feelings for him like that. Really, please let me off the hook. Are you sure? Absolutely, as true as it gets. Yang Xia nodded emphatically, like a little bird pecking at rice. All right then, I understand. Yang Shui patted her daughter's head, letting out a quiet sigh of relief. Perhaps this is for the best. Mom, if you think Suyang is such a good kid, you should make him your godson or something. Then I have an older brother. Get out of here with that. All right, you go ahead and keep playing, I'll head out. Oh, and Xia, Suyang will be staying with us from now on, okay? Since he is the child of a good friend of mine. Sure, Mom, no problem at all. Har, that means we'll get to play games together all the time. Yeah, play games. Yang Shui couldn't help but shake her head, smiling, and left her daughter's room. Suyang, from now on why don't you stay here with Auntie? You and Xia can go to and from school together. What do you think? Back in the study, Yang Shui sat down in the chair across from Suyang again, her gaze carrying an intensity that was hard to refuse. Auntie, are you sure that is okay? Seeing the intensity in her eyes, Suyang felt his heart flutter, like he was being warmed by some invisible flame. Drop the okay part, why wouldn't it be? Yang Shui stood up, gently placing a hand on Suyang's shoulder. Aren't we close friends? Of course, close friends. Suyang chuckled nervously, quickly nodding. Honestly, considering his past connection with Yang Shui, not to mention her mature and attractive presence, he couldn't have refused even if he tried. All right then, go ahead and stay. We've got plenty of room in the house. You can take the guest room right next to mine. Thank you, Auntie. Suyang nodded without a trace of hesitation, though he did feel a slight pang of concern about how things would go with his friend Yang Xie. He had promised her he wouldn't pursue Yang Shui. But things seemed to be spiraling beyond his control. Come with me, Suyang, and I'll show you your room. Seeing his agreement, Yang Shui couldn't help but pat his shoulder, her eyes filled with a warmth she couldn't hide. All right. Suyang nodded and followed her to the guest room next door. This room was initially set up for Xia, but she didn't like the layout, so it's yours now. Thanks, Auntie. Looking around at the well-prepared room, Suyang nodded thoughtfully. He knew all too well what was on Yang Shui's mind. She likely already saw him as her former lover reborn. Honestly, Suyang no longer wanted to call her auntie. They were past lovers, brought together again. Even with the 18-year age gap, calling her auntie didn't feel quite right. But Suyang's feelings weren't as deep as Yang Shui's. While he had some vivid dreams, he didn't have Yang Shui's wealth of memories, the childhood friendship, nor the 18 years of longing. Suyang, when it's just the two of us, don't call me auntie anymore, okay? You understand what I mean, don't you? Yang Shui placed her hand on Suyang's arm, her gaze intense, her cheeks slightly flushed. She was more convinced than ever that this young man before her was indeed her lover from the past. So when it's just us, I'll call you sister. All right. Yang Shui looked at Suyang, seeing the same face she remembered from 18 years ago, her gaze full of unspoken emotion. But the years had passed. She was now 36, while he was an 18-year-old young man. Yet, he was as handsome as ever. For a woman whose heart had been locked away for 18 years, it felt like a volcano erupting. If not for her hard-won self-control, she might have already thrown herself into his arms. Those 18 years of longing. Wait a moment, I'll grab some of Xia's spare slippers and pajamas for you. Tomorrow I'll buy you some new ones. Blushing, Yang Shui lightly patted her warm cheeks and left the room. Xia's pajamas. Suyang thought about it. His buddy's clothes were all men's styles, so their pajamas were sure to be too. All right, it'd work for now. He could bring his own things over from the dorm later. Chapter 6. I treat you as my buddy, but you want to be. Suyang, Xia's pajamas are a little short for you. See if you can wear them for a day. I'll buy you new ones tomorrow. After a while, Yang Shui brought a set of men's pajamas and tried it on Suyang. It's okay, sister. You can wear it. I have pajamas. You can go to the dormitory to get them tomorrow. Smelling the charming scent emanating from Yang Shui, Suyang couldn't help but feel dazed again. In his entire life, there has never been a person of the opposite sex so close to him. And she is a mature and beautiful big sister. And she looked at him with deep affection in her eyes. No need to take it, sister will buy you a new one. Yang Shui looked at Suyang. Although her voice was soft, it contained a hint of urgency. It was as if Suyang was a treasure that she had just lost and found again in her eyes. She wanted to give him all the best she had and she must not refuse him. Okay sis. Feeling Yang Shui's fiery gaze, Suyang really couldn't refuse anything. Well, go take a shower. There's a shower room outside, and there's also a shower room in my sister's room. You can take a shower anywhere. As she spoke, Yang Shui patted Suyang's arm, and a hint of shyness suddenly appeared in her eyes. This was the first time in 18 years that she was so close to a boy. Although she knew in her heart that this boy was the lover she was obsessed with. But even if she hadn't changed, he was not the same as before. After all, Suyang had no memories of the past, only some dreams about her. In his eyes. Maybe it's just like an older sister wanting to seduce him. Although Yang Shui understood these principles, she didn't care about so much. 18 years of longing made her not want to think about so much. So what if I flirt with him? Even if it's an old cow eating young grass, so what? He is obviously the one I love the most. At most, it would be just falling in love with him again. Okay, thank you, sis. Suyang, please don't say thank you to your sister, okay? It's not easy for your sister to meet you. As she spoke, Yang Shui put her pajamas in Suyang's hands, and her eyes seemed to be a little red. Suyang nodded silently, feeling quite emotional. Looking at this mature and beautiful elder sister in front of me, who is so passionate about me, I can't help but feel excited. But Yang Xia's words always come to mind. And this was in her home. Although he knew that the woman in front of him should be his lover in his previous life, he still hesitated to act impulsively. If Yang Xie breaks in, then, it might be really troublesome. I treat you as a buddy. You wanna be my dad? Go take a shower, we have a long way to go. I will treat you well in the future, don't refuse me. After Yang Xue finished speaking, a blush instantly appeared on her face. Then she smiled shyly, turned around and left Su Yang's room. Well. Su Yang couldn't help but laugh to himself, only a ghost would refuse. Such a good elder sister. Even if you don't take the initiative, I will find a way to get close to you. Which boy can resist the temptation of a mature and beautiful older sister? Holding his pajamas, Su Yang walked out of the room and prepared to take a shower in the bathroom outside. Brother, you want to take a shower? Let me go first. I can't hold it anymore. As soon as I walked out of the room, I saw Yang Xie running out of the room hurriedly, holding her stomach and holding pajamas in her hand. Okay, let you go first. As for the smell of squatting in the toilet, I'd better let you produce and sell it yourself first. Brother, there's a bathroom in my mom's room, you can go there too, click. After Yang Xie finished speaking, he ran into the bathroom outside and closed the door. Crackle, beep. Following a strange sound, Su Yang couldn't help but twitch his mouth. It seems that I can only go to Yang Xue's room to take a shower. Knock, knock, knock. Su Yang came to her door and knocked twice gently. Wait a minute. Yang Xue's gentle voice soon sounded from inside. A moment later, the door opened and Yang Xue walked out. The previous professional attire was replaced with pajamas, and the long hair that was tied up was also let down. A strong sense of home warmth made Su Yang's eyes relax for a moment. Su Yang, do you want to take a shower? Come in. Turning her head to look at the light on in the bathroom outside, Yang Xue nodded gently and reached out to pull Su Yang's sleeve. When I walked into the bedroom, the whole room was filled with her charming fragrance. The house is very tidy and warm. Come on Su Yang, go take a shower first. Just leave the clothes you wear behind and I'll help you wash them. Looking at Yang Xue's affectionate eyes, Su Yang nodded. He suppressed his excitement and carefully felt the unusual care that Yang Xue brought him. In fact, this sister's aura is really strong. It's like she is saying the most gentle words, but she has the most irresistible momentum. Just as they were about to enter the bathroom, Yang Xue placed her hand on his back and gently stroked it twice. Go ahead. Okay, sister. Having said that, Su Yang went into the bathroom and closed the door. Call. Su Yang patted his pounding heart and calmed himself down a little. Then I took off my clothes and started taking a shower. Boys take a bath very quickly. It only takes about 10 minutes to wash from head to toe. When Su Yang put on Yang Xue's pajamas, he found that they were indeed too short. Fine, I'll just wear it like this for the day. Su Yang, come here, sister will help you blow. Yang Xue held a hairdryer in her hand, stared at Su Yang with interest, and pointed at the chair in front of the dressing table. He smiled and nodded, then sat down on the chair silently. He let Yang Xue blow his hair right next to him. Call. The noise of the hairdryer mixed with Yang Xue's fragrance quickly made Su Yang excited again. He turned his head and looked at the door, it was closed. So he stretched out his hand and hugged Yang Xue's waist. Well. With a soft gasp, she froze slightly and turned off the hairdryer in her hand. He hugged Su Yang's head and held him in his arms. Then she put her face against his hair, carefully feeling his warmth. For a while, it seemed that the whole world had become quiet. The only sound was the rapid breathing. Chapter 7. This is clearly the relationship between father-in-law and daughter-in-law. After an unknown amount of time, Yang Xue suddenly took a step back, stuffed the hairdryer into Su Yang's hands, and quickly walked into the bathroom. Knock, knock. Following a few crisp knocks on the door, Yang Xie rushed in. Fuck, Su Yang, why are you more slow than a woman? I've already finished washing and you haven't cleaned up yet, let's go, let's play some games. Yang Xie glanced in the direction of the bathroom, reached out and pulled Su Yang's arm. Okay, let's go play games with you. Su Yang couldn't help but secretly admire Yang Xue's cleverness. If she hadn't reacted quickly. If Yang Xie had caught the scene just now, it would have been bad. Har har har, my pajamas look like capris on you. Yang Xie grabbed Su-yan's arm and they walked into her room together. Capri pants are so nice, they keep you cool. Come and sit. My friend, I'm a little curious. Tell me, what is the relationship between your father and my mother? Yang Xie couldn't help but ask curiously while playing games. Ahem. Don't let your imagination run wild. They are just good friends, what else could there be? Su-yang scratched his head a little embarrassedly. This is clearly the relationship between father-in-law and daughter-in-law. You little bastard, oh no. What are you thinking about? Har har, I don't believe it anyway. If you don't look like my mom, I would have called you brother. Forget about calling me brother, just call me uncle, this name sounds more comfortable. Get lost, it's better if you call me uncle. Damn, Su-yang, you don't really have any thoughts about my mom, do you? What are you talking about? Your mom and my dad, they are good friends. That's right, it seems I was overthinking it. But it seems like my mom cares about you a lot, so I thought, their relationship must be unusual. So what if it's unusual? Can't anyone have a good friend or something? Yeah, that's right. Yang Xie nodded while playing games. Oh my god. He got shot in the head, come on, fight for a while. Yang Xie stood up depressedly and let Su-yan sit in front of the computer. By the way, Su-yan, you don't have any feelings towards me, right? What my mother asked me yesterday really scared me. Oh my god. Is this a mistake? Su-yan couldn't help but be startled. What's going on? According to seniority, you should at least call me uncle. How the hell could I possibly have any idea about you? What the hell am I imagining? Har har. I told you, we are close friends, how could we have such messed up thoughts? By the way, buddy, I think the girl in the next class is pretty. Oh my god. Su-yang was stunned and turned to look at Yang Xie. Are you kidding me? This boy actually likes little girls. You mean the one with pigtails? Yes, yes. How is she? What do you think of her? Although she is a little skinny, I think she is very well behaved. Why, you like her? Su-yang remembered very clearly that this boy Yang Xie whistled at the little girl at least twice. The little girl was very honest and introverted. She was so scared that she ran away trembling. Yeah, don't you like a little girl like this? She's so well behaved, I really want to protect her. But, if you like her too, we can compete. Yang Xie patted Su-yang's shoulder nonchalantly. Fuck. Su-yang risked internal injuries and forced himself not to laugh. Protecting a little girl is a manly thing to do. You're a tomboy. How can you bring happiness to others? No, no, I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you. Uncle won't compete with you. You really won't fight for it with me? Har har. Fine, I'll start chasing you later, just don't be jealous of me then. No, no, I'm going to start chasing you tomorrow. By the way, Su-yang, when you start courting a girl, what should you do? Send her flowers. Yang Xie patted Su-yang on the shoulder and paused the game with his hand. Fuck. Are you serious? Yeah, brother is so handsome. Isn't he worthy of pursuing girls? You, a good match, of course. To chase a girl, you have to create opportunities to meet her first, like on the road, in the cafeteria, in the library. And then what? Then you start chatting her up. Be humorous and be a gentleman, understand? Don't just whistle as soon as you go up to her. That girl has been scared away by you twice. Oh, so that's how it is. Yang Xie slapped his head hard, looking extremely regretful. It's okay, just go back and apologize to her. Besides, with your looks, if you behave like a gentleman, you can definitely win her over. Real. Upon hearing this, Yang Xie couldn't help but show joy on his face, and even danced with joy. Well, it shouldn't be a big problem. But. Su-yang looked at Yang Xie, sized him up and down, his expression a little embarrassed. But what? TSK, don't worry. I have a way to deal with her. When Yang Xie saw Su-yang's expression, she naturally knew what he was worried about. Haven't you heard this saying? You always thought you liked men, but in fact that's because you haven't met the woman you like yet. Well. Su-yang couldn't help but nodded. This actually sounded like it made sense. Right, look at me, how do I look like a woman? Bang. Yang Xie said this and patted his chest. It's really ordinary. From the outside, it's really hard to tell that she is a girl. I think the two of them didn't know each other until they fought. When I just started my freshman year. Suyang had no idea that Yanxia was actually a girl. That day, he watched Yanxia run to the women's restroom, so he immediately called out to her. I thought she was a voyeur. The two of them almost came to a fight. Yanxia was so angry that she almost took off her clothes in public, but in the end she took out her ID card and let Suyang take a look. Suyang was so embarrassed at that time. But since then, the two have become best friends. Squeak. The two were chatting happily when Yanxia pushed the door and walked in with a smile on her face. She was also combing her freshly dried long hair. What are you two talking about? You seem to be having such a good time. Chapter 8 Mom, why don't you adopt Suyang as your godson? Mom, we are just talking about studying. By the way, Mom, Suyang and I are going to the library to read tomorrow. Yanxia said this and blinked at Suyang. To lie to my mother, I always need my brothers to cover for me. Mom is going to take Suyang to buy some clothes tomorrow. Before Suyang could speak, Yanxia told him her plan first. Oh, I see. Yanxia couldn't help but secretly rejoice. That's good, it saves this kid from competing with me. If that girl falls in love with Suyang, then Yanxia would be in big trouble. It's okay, Mom. You guys can go buy clothes. I'll go to the library by myself. I now find studying is much more interesting than playing games. Silly girl. Looking at her daughter's mysterious look, Yanxia couldn't help laughing. Tell me the truth, are you attracted to a boy? No. How could I possibly like a boy? Mom, I just like studying, okay. Besides, if I really like boys, wouldn't I just get Suyang and be done with it? You? Yanxia was so confused that she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She stretched out her hand and wanted to slap Yanxia. Silly girl, how can you talk nonsense? What do you mean by taking down Suyang? Could you have just taken Suyang? Silly girl, you are not in love with a girl, are you? Let me tell you. Mom doesn't agree. No. Mom, I am a girl myself, why would I like other girls? As Yanxia spoke, there was a hint of embarrassment in her eyes. Auntie, Yanxia has really become more interested in studying recently. She listens very seriously in class now. Seeing this, Suyang quickly tried to smooth things over. On one side is a lover, on the other side is a buddy. Then we must stir this mud evenly. Oh, really? Fine then, go to the library and read some books. If you really like a boy, don't hide it from Mom. Now that you are already a college student, Mom won't stop you from dating. Yeah, I got it, Mom. Yanxia nodded quickly. He just listened to whatever his mother said. What boy or not boy? She, Yanxia, really had no interest in it. That good little girl is still so cute. Okay, you guys play games, but don't play too late, okay? I have to go to the company early tomorrow, so I can take Suyang to buy clothes at noon. Suyang, how about you go to the company with your aunt tomorrow? I asked Xiaoxia to go before, but she didn't want to go. Okay Auntie, no problem. Suyang nodded without hesitation, which was naturally what he wanted. What are we going to do there? It's so boring. Yanxia couldn't help but twitch his lips, looking completely uninterested. Hey. Mom wants to train you. The group is so big, don't you want to help Mom? Yanxia stroked Yanxia's hair lovingly and sighed slightly. By the way, Mom, why don't you take Suyang as your godson? Really, he is much more ambitious than me. And at least you can have one more child to be filial to you, right? Anyway, Suyang and I are close friends, so it's okay for me to call him brother in the future. Ahem. Silly girl, stop it. Yanxia's words made Suyang and Yanxia unable to hold back. Silly girl, what are you talking about? Suyang is the child of my good friend. He is no different from my own. Why do you want to recognize him as your godson, you silly girl? Okay, it's getting late. I can't sleep in tomorrow. Even if I go to the library to study, I have to go early. Yanxia looked at the two of them, then stood up and prepared to leave. Okay, buddy, I'm going to go back and rest first. Tomorrow I'll go to the company with my aunt. We can't get up late. You should also go to bed early. Okay, I'll rest early too. I'll be at the library early tomorrow. Yang Xie said this and winked at Su Yang with a smile. In this matter, she only believed Su Yang and didn't even dare to tell her mother. Su Yang looked at Yang Xie's playful face and couldn't help but twitching his lips, then followed Yang Xue out of Yang Xie's room. Forget it, everyone has their own pursuits. Since she wants to pursue that girl, let her do it. This society needs a bit of tolerance, doesn't it? Go back and rest. When she reached the door, Yang Xue looked at Su Yang, and her eyes couldn't help but flicker slightly. She wanted to hug him again and say good night. But she looked back at Yang Xie's door and suppressed the impulse in her heart. Well, sister should also rest early. Su Yang looked at Yang Xue, who seemed to be hesitant to speak, and naturally understood what she meant. But it is not appropriate to express anything at this time and place. So he just nodded slightly and shook his phone. Yang Xue smiled and nodded, then turned and went into her room. Su Yang took off his shoes and leaned against the head of the bed. Then he picked up his phone and clicked on Yang Xue's profile picture. This is a towering iceberg, which makes people feel a little chilly at the first sight. A nice beauty? She is the president of a large company and must have extraordinary abilities. I have been single for so many years. I guess it must be the legendary Ice Beauty. The lover who can't wait. It seems that her heart has been frozen for many years. Suddenly, Yang Xue's profile picture changed. The original picture of an iceberg suddenly turned into a lush green area. There are flowers, grass and fluttering butterflies in the green land. It makes people feel full of vitality and relaxed at first glance. Ding dong. It turned out that Yang Xue sent a message to Su Yang. Su Yang, I don't feel like sleeping yet, can you chat with me for a while? Okay, sister. Then I'll go over and accompany you. Su Yang couldn't help but smile and made a joke with her. If she could have gotten through, she would have definitely pulled him in directly. I guarantee there won't be any resistance at all. Okay, if you really dare, then come over here, shy. Okay, wait for me. Of course, you have to be thorough when telling a joke. Su Yang stood up, opened the door, and walked out. But the direction I was walking was the bathroom outside. No, sister is joking with you, scared. Su Yang looked at his phone and couldn't help but twitching his lips. Do you feel scared now? Har 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 har. This elder sister is really interesting. Just now when I was blow drying my hair in her room, the feeling of her holding my head in her arms was so good. It's like returning to childhood. Chapter 9, How Close is a Personal Secretary? However, Yang Xue's worries were in vain, as Su Yang would naturally not really go. After Su Yang came back from the bathroom, he lay back on the bed. Sister, why didn't you open the door for me? Grin. You're not really waiting at your sister's door, are you scared? Yang Xue couldn't help but be shocked. Could it be that Su Yang really wanted to come over? But after a little thought, she felt that he really wanted to come over. In fact, she really wanted him to come over. But right now is not a good time, it would be really bad if Yang Xie saw us. After she replied to Su Yang, she quietly got out of bed. I listened at my door for a while, then opened it a little. Where was he? Oh well. I was fooled by him again. Yang Xue couldn't help but cover her mouth and chuckle. What a familiar scene. One day 18 years ago, the two of them lived together in Su Yang's house. They chatted through text messages and something very similar happened. At that time, Su Yang deliberately scared Yang into fear. Now, history repeated itself, and she was fooled by him once again. A moment later. As Yang Xue laughed, tears welled up in her eyes. Su Yang, do you know? 18 years ago, I went to your house to play. That night was like this. Yang Xue smiled and cried, letting the tears blur her vision. Sister, I really want to go there. Well, sister knows. Have a good rest, come with me to the company tomorrow, and you will be my part-time personal secretary from now on. Smile. This. Su Yang couldn't help but be stunned. He really didn't know much about what a personal secretary was. How close is it? Does it follow her everywhere? Do I have to keep it sticky when eating, sleeping, etc.? It's really interesting to think about it. Okay, sis, hug. Early the next morning. Su Yang had just sat up from the bed when he heard someone hurriedly leaving the house outside. Did my sister go out? That shouldn't be the case. Those hurried footsteps must be Yang, she always walks in a hurry. Su Yang was wearing pajamas, yawned, and walked out of the room. I was so excited last night that I didn't fall asleep until midnight, so I woke up a little late. Good morning, Su Yang. Yang Shui came out of the kitchen, holding 2 glasses of milk and placed them on the dining table. Good morning, Auntie. Is Yang Xie out? Looking at the radiant Yang Shui, Su Yang felt as if his eyes suddenly brightened. That delicate white face, that enchanting figure, those loose and thin pajamas, and those long hair draped behind the head, really charming. Well, Yang Xie has already gone out, you should go wash up, there is a restroom outside, and I have prepared a toothbrush and toothbrush holder for you. Yang Shui looked at Su Yang, who was in a daze, and a blush appeared on her pretty face. In a trance, the love affair that she had interrupted 18 years ago seemed to resume. Okay, sister. As expected, Yang Xie went out. This guy really works hard to pick up girls. It seemed like she had never gone to school on weekends before. Since this guy is out, there is no need to call Yang Shui Auntie. After Su Yang cleaned up, he came to the restaurant. Yang Shui was sitting there quietly waiting for him. Elder sister. Well, come to Su Yang, let's eat. Yang Shui looked at Su Yang tenderly, with an indescribable sweetness in her eyes. Su Yang is the sun in her world, and now, her spring has finally returned. As she spoke, she picked up the chopsticks and handed them to Su Yang. And she also took the opportunity to touch his hand. She knew very well that Su Yang was only 18 years old, but in her heart she truly regarded him as her lover. 18 is 18. As long as he doesn't despise her, Yang Shui will never leave him, forever. Even if he despises her, she will treat him well all her life. Thank you, sister, you are so kind to me. Su Yang has been very excited since he got up. Although it wasn't as strong as last night, I was still feeling dazed. Does my brother like it? Looking at Su Yang's handsome and extremely familiar face, Yang Shui was actually much more excited than Su Yang. It's just that the self-control she has developed over the years makes her look calmer. Of course I like you, my sister is so beautiful and gentle. Don't you think my sister is too old? I don't mind. Su Yang thought about it, and it seemed that from his entire adolescence until now, he had never been attracted to any other girl. The most important reason is that Yang Shui in his dream occupied his entire adolescence. It can also be said that she is Su Yang's ideal girlfriend. Now that he suddenly met her, how could he not like her? Although Yang Shui in the dream was only 18 years old, he seemed to prefer her mature and beautiful appearance. Then, why? Yang Shui ate breakfast while looking at Su Yang with interest. You've been in my dreams for so many years, but actually it's you I like you no matter how old you are. Yang Shui suddenly felt as if her throat was blocked. An indescribable emotion arose spontaneously. I waited for Su Yang for 18 years, but he has always liked the self in his dreams since he can remember. Although he has no memory of the past, he has never forgotten me, Yang Shui, in his soul. He comes back again. He still looks the same as in his previous life, even the small mole on his arm is exactly the same. He must want me to recognize him right away, right? He somehow became good friends with his daughter Xiaoxia. This must be God helping them to meet again, right? Elder sister. Looking at Yang Shui's red eyes and tears rolling down, Su Yang couldn't help but pick up a tissue to wipe them for her. After letting him wipe her tears, Yang Shui gently held Su Yang's hand and slowly placed it on her face. Caressing gently. My lover is really back. I really want to hug him and cry. Su Yang, hug me. Following Yang Shui's soft and trembling voice, Su Yang stood up, walked around the table, and hugged her in his arms. Why? She had waited for him for so many years, it was really hard for her. Woo woo. Yang Shui couldn't hold it in any longer, she hugged Su Yang's waist tightly and couldn't help crying. Chapter 10, Can you please listen to your sister? Su Yang didn't know how to comfort her, so he just hugged her patiently. Pat her on the back from time to time. After so many years of missing you, I really need to have a good cry. But after a while, Yang Shui stopped crying. Su Yang, I still have some work to do today, so I'll just stop crying here. Well. After hearing what Yang Shui said, Su Yang almost couldn't help laughing. I was crying and feeling great, why did you stop just like that? You know what, brother? Actually, when I was crying, I suddenly wanted to laugh happily. I didn't expect you to come back to see me. Actually, I'm really, really happy now. Forget it, I cried too much in the past, I will smile happily from now on. As she spoke, she let go of Su-yang's embrace and reached out to touch his face. She tilted her pretty face up, smiling through tears, and looked carefully at her long-lost lover. It really hasn't changed at all. It's still the same as she remembered deeply. Suddenly, it seemed as if everything in the past was just a dream, as if those tragedies had never happened. The boy she loved most was right before her eyes, in her arms. It seems like it has never been lost. As she spoke, Yang Shui couldn't control her excitement anymore and stretched out her arms to hug Su-yang's waist tightly again. She buried her head in his arms. Don't worry, sister. Now that I'm back, I will definitely treat you well. Su-yang hugged Yang Shui tightly, feeling deeply moved. The reunion of the two was like a fairy tale. Although he has not yet recovered his past memories, everything he sees makes him have to believe it. The mature and beautiful older sister in his arms is his childhood sweetheart in his previous life. Well, I will take good care of you. Just don't complain about me being old or annoying in the future. Well, that's definitely not possible. If love is long-lasting, why should it matter whether they are 18 years old or 18 years old? Su-yang couldn't wait to be happy for such a beautiful and mature lover, so how could he complain about her being old or annoying? Okay, then you belong to me from now on. Hurry up and finish eating, change your clothes and follow me. Yang Shui wiped her tears, with an indescribable happiness on her face. Then he patted Su-yang's shoulder gently and told him to eat quickly. Good. Su-yang smiled and nodded. What S one person S is one person S. Besides, he is not a promiscuous person. It is enough to have one beautiful woman in life. I have dreamed of her since I was a child, and now I meet her again. She and I were the closest lovers in our previous life. I believe that our relationship will be elevated to a higher level in the future. After everything was packed up, Yang Shui took Su-yang and left home. Can you drive? Yes, sister. That's great. From now on, when you're with me, you'll be responsible for driving, okay? You have to love me. Yang Shui smiled and took out a pair of car keys from her small bag and handed them to Su-yang. Whatever car you like, I'll have someone deliver it to you. Sister, I'm still in school, so I rarely use the car. Su-yang couldn't help but smile. It felt really good to be with his older sister. Why do I suddenly feel like I'm being kept? Now not only does she live in her big house, but she also wants to buy herself a car. How about this, let's pick one up so you and Xiaoxia can use it to go to and from school, okay? That's fine, but why didn't you buy a car for Yangxia before? She even complained to me several times. Su-yang said this and turned to look at Yang Shui, who was in a professional suit. This spirit is truly dazzling. It's really a never-boring sight. If the two of them didn't have this relationship. A mature and beautiful elder sister like this can only appear in Su-yang's dreams. Really? This silly child, isn't it all for her own good that I don't buy her a car? She's in such a rush all day long, not steady at all. I'm worried that she's not driving safely. Su-yang, I'll feel relieved knowing you're here with me from now on. Okay, it's decided then, you tell your sister the car model you want today. Before Su-yang could express his opinion, Yang Shui made the decision directly. Perhaps it is the experiences of these years that have made her aura much stronger than when she was young. All right. Feeling Yang Shui's irresistible aura, Su-yang nodded. Su-yang, listen to me from now on, okay? Let me take good care of you, I've been apart from you for too long, and now I just want you to be happy every day. The two got into the car. Yang Shui sat in the passenger seat and stared deeply into Su-yang's eyes. There was unspeakable affection in her tender eyes. But there is an aura in this affection that cannot be refused. Looking at the affectionate eyes, Su-yang couldn't help but feel moved. After being separated for so many years, her desire to love him was indeed very strong. It's even so strong that you don't want to be rejected. With the slight roar of the engine, Su-yang drove towards the company with Yang Shui. Is this car easy to drive? If you like, you can drive this one too. No, it's too ostentatious for a student to drive a BMW X7. I don't like it. Su-yang was stunned when he heard this, then shook his head. Sister, are you mistaken? Yang Xia has wanted a car for a long time, but you have never bought one for her. I arrived and drove away your car. How would she feel? Yang Shui looked at Su Yan, couldn't help but smile, and nodded slightly. He is right. Although he is her lover, she is still a student after all, so she should buy a low-key car. Sister, what kind of car does Yang Shui like? She likes off-road vehicles, and she likes the domestically produced Tank 300 very much. Hey, actually this girl's requirements are not high. Okay, let's buy this car. I happen to like it very much. Su Yan thought about it and decided that this would be the best of both worlds. At least Yang Shui won't think too much about it. Anyway, Yang Shui is also his daughter, so it is only right that he should take her thoughts into consideration. Su Yan, you are still the same as before, always thinking too much about others. If you hadn't pushed me hard that day, nothing would have happened to you. Boom. Su Yan suddenly felt a buzzing in his head. He quickly braked and stopped the car on the side of the road. A vague memory slowly became clear. It seems like a dream, but also like a personal experience. A dump truck roared over. At the critical moment, Su Yan suddenly pushed Yang Shui out. Then, the picture turned dark. Chapter 11. This title sounds so interesting. What's wrong, Su Yan? Yang Shui was startled. Looking at Su Yan, who was holding his head with his hands and closing his eyes, she quickly asked. Call. After a moment, Su Yan shook his head and finally calmed down. The scene in my mind has now become very clear. Brother Su Yan, are you okay? Yang Shui looked at Su Yan worriedly and reached out to grab his arm. It's okay. It's okay. Su Yan turned his head to look at Yang Shui, and an inexplicable sense of long-lost familiarity arose spontaneously. If I understood it in theory before, now I feel a sense of familiarity that seems to come from the depths of my soul. Su Yan? As if she sensed the difference in Su Yan's eyes, Yang Shui's eyes suddenly turned red. Could it be that he remembered something? Xiaoshui. He saw it clearly, and when he pushed Yang Shui away, he shouted, Xiaoshui, be careful. It seems that he called her Xiaoshui in his previous life. In an instant, tears as big as bins flowed out of Yang Shui's eyes. It's been 18 years. Finally I heard the familiar Xiaoshui again. Woo woo. Yang Shui reached out to unbuckle her seatbelt, leaned on Su Yan's shoulder and couldn't help crying. It seems that it really is him. Not wrong at all. The lover I have been thinking about for 18 years finally comes to find me. He finally came back to himself. Okay, Xiaoshui, let's stop crying. Let's stop crying today. You still have a few meetings today. Su Yan rubbed his moist eyes and reached out to pat Yang Shui's back. This beautiful girl in my arms, she has really suffered over the years. The clearer the memory, the sadder he felt. Brother Su Yan. Well. Su Yan was stunned when he heard Yang Shui's soft and shy voice. Is that what she used to call me? It sounds so touching. Especially now that she has become a mature big sister, 18 years older than Su Yan. When I call you this name again, it really makes me feel itchy. Don't cry, Xiaoshui, okay? From now on, we should all smile happily. In fact, the memory Su Yan recovered was very little, just a few seconds of footage. It should be said that this is the last memory scene of his previous life. Yang Shui sat up straight and took out a tissue to wipe her tears. Boom. With a step on the accelerator, the car continued to move forward. Under Yang Shui's command, Su Yan quickly drove the car to where she worked. Yang Shui Clothing Group. This name is interesting. Su Yan, I have to go upstairs for a meeting. It's time. After you park your car, can you go directly to the top floor office and wait for me? Yang Shui had already calmed down and even put on some light makeup. As soon as she arrived downstairs of the group, her powerful aura suddenly appeared. Even when he spoke with a smile, Su Yan still felt a sense of inexplicable pressure. Well, go ahead and get busy, Xiaoshui. Call me sister. Yang Shui couldn't help but laugh. She turned her head and looked at Su Yan with a smile in her eyes that could not be refused. Next time when there are people around, just keep calling me Auntie, okay? Be good, little brother. Okay, I'll go up first. Yang Shui said this with a shy smile, then turned around, opened the car door and went out. Well. Su Yan couldn't help but smile and shook his head. I originally thought that she would call me brother in the future, but I didn't expect that she still calls me younger brother now. It's just that this feeling seems to be missing something. Call her auntie in public and sister in private. Why does it feel like we are underground lovers? Okay. Whether you call me sister or auntie, you are the woman I, Suyang, love most in this and other lives. In fact, Suyang knew very well that this was just a stopgap measure. He and Yang Xi are buddies, so it would definitely be inappropriate to call her mom sister in front of her. It doesn't matter if you call someone sister in front of someone you don't know. After Suyang parked the car, he walked into the Yangshui building. Fortunately, Yangshui greeted the front desk in advance, otherwise he would not be able to get in at all. After taking the elevator to the top floor, Suyang couldn't help but be stunned. This company is so rich. As soon as I entered the door, I was shocked by the luxurious and exquisite decoration. Who are you looking for, sir? Before I had the chance to appreciate it carefully, I was stopped by the girl sitting at the front desk at the door. Hello, my name is Suyang, Yang Shui. Boss Yang asked me to wait for her in her office. Oh, so you are Mr. Suyang. Mr. Yang has just told me. Please follow me. The girl at the front desk stood up with a smile and welcomed Suyang in. After walking more than 20 meters along the corridor and turning a corner, I arrived at Yang Shui's president's office. Mr. Su, please go in. If you have any questions, you can come to the front desk to see me at any time. Okay, thank you. Suyang nodded and entered Yang Shui's office. A faint fragrance came over, very familiar. That's right, this is obviously the smell of Yang Shui. The office is very big. There is a big boss desk, a big fish tank, big pots of green plants, and a big bookshelf in the back. Crack. The girl at the front desk pushed the door open and came in with a glass of water in her hand. Mr. Su, have some water. Thanks. Suyang smiled and nodded. It seemed that Yang Shui's subordinates were quite sensible. I came to Yang Shui's bookcase and checked the books inside. What about psychology, finance, business? What about fashion magazines, model albums? Yes, this one looks good. Suyang casually pulled out a book of model photo albums and sat on the sofa. Frog fun. The model has a great figure. Time goes by bit. Ding dong. Suyang picked up the phone and saw that it was a message from Yangxia. Suyang, hee. I finally saw that good girl in the library cease. This dude. Suyang couldn't help but smile. Immediately afterwards, Yangxia sent him another photo. Not far away, about a few tables away, the thin and well-behaved girl was reading a book with her head down. It is obvious that this photo was taken secretly by Yangxia. Suyang, please give me some advice, I'm urgently asking for help online. Oh my god. What advice do you want me to give you? What should I do now? After seeing her, I suddenly feel a little nervous, damn. Chapter 12, you have to eat this free meal. Why are you so nervous? Where's your manly spirit? Suyang couldn't help but twitch his lips, which provoked her. I didn't think about pursuing her before. Damn, now that I want to pursue her, I suddenly feel anxious and worried. Come on, brother Suyang, give me some advice, please. Call me uncle. Fuck, you're taking advantage of me. Ouch, go ahead and yell, a real man should be able to bend and stretch. Uncle. That's right, you are so good, okay, uncle will give you a tip. From the photo you just posted, you can see that the seat next to her is still empty. Just go over and sit down. Don't say anything, just sit for a while. Then what? You can't just sit there and do nothing, right? So what should I say? Did you bring snacks today? Quietly hand her a pack. Must you be sincere and understand? Understood. What next? You must sincerely ask her to accept it. If she refuses, you can apologize to her for scaring her by whistling before. If she accepts it, then continue to accompany her, chat slowly, and then ask for her WeChat. I see. Oh. In fact, Suyang had no experience in picking up girls. He just made up all the stories on the spur of the moment. Anyway, the first step to picking up girls is to go for it bravely. As for the idea of throwing food to ask for directions, it was just a sudden inspiration. As for whether it will succeed or not, it depends on Yangxia's practical results. If it works, it's because his idea was good. If it doesn't, it's because Yangxia lacks execution ability. After giving advice to Yangxia, Su-yan continued to admire the model and the clothes she was wearing. These were all top-quality fabrics. Every single strand of them was probably worth more than all the clothes he had on. Before I knew it, it was already noon. Crack. Su-yan had only reviewed the model album twice when the office door was suddenly pushed open. It turned out that Yang Shui was back. Su-yan, are you hungry? Yang Shui, who had a cold and serious face, instantly showed a smile from the bottom of her heart after seeing Su-yan. Yeah, it's okay. But after seeing Xiaoxue, I'm not that hungry anymore. Hate. Upon hearing this, Yang Shui couldn't help but burst into shy laughter. Then he put down the folder in his hand, walked quickly to Su-yan and sat down. Then leaned on his shoulder. Good brother, call me sister and let me hear it. As Yang Shui spoke, she reached out and touched Su-yan's face, and put her other hand around his waist. What's wrong, sister? You seem a little tired. Yeah, that's right, I couldn't fall asleep last night, isn't it all because of you, my good brother? Su-yan couldn't help but smile awkwardly. In fact, he didn't sleep well last night either. Just across the wall was his former closest lover, who had now become even more mature and beautiful. As an 18-year-old boy full of vigor and vitality, how could he sleep peacefully? Oh, dear brother, when you drove here this morning, did you remember anything? I was so excited before, I didn't have time to ask you. Yang Shui kept stroking Su-yan's face, looking at him carefully bit by bit, as if she was appreciating a piece of art that she loved very much. Well, when you said that I gave you a hard shove, some images suddenly appeared in my mind. A dump truck rushed over, I yelled, and then pushed you out. Letting Yang Shui caress his face, Su-yan gently held her in his arms. Yes. That's what happened then, silly brother, why didn't you run away by yourself? For you, it's all worth it. Su-yan stared into Yang Shui's eyes for a moment, then said lightly. Who knows what I was thinking at that time, I can't remember it now anyway. But he knew that Yang Shui must be extremely important in his heart. Why? Yang Shui couldn't help but sigh and buried her head in Su-yan's arms. Silly brother, no matter how good your sister is to you in the future, you have to be obedient, okay? Let your sister love you well for the rest of your life. Sister, I'm still young now, you can't let me eat your soft rice, right? Su-yan couldn't help but scratch his head. It seems like there's no way I can refuse this free meal. If I don't eat it, my sister will definitely feel sad. My dear brother, you are my favorite person, I will definitely support you for the rest of your life. If you dare not obey me, I will scratch you. As she spoke, Yang Shui smiled and scratched Su-yan's waist. This. Well, since it's the soft rice of the person you love the most, no matter how soft it is, it will definitely be delicious. Wait a moment, brother. I need to make a phone call. After sitting up from Su-yan's arms, Yang Shui tidied her hair a little and then sat on the large swivel chair behind her desk. Hey, Mr. Liu, please send me a tank 300. Oh sure, no problem, in the afternoon. After a while, Yang Shui ended the call. Su-yan, the new car will be delivered in the afternoon, and you can just drive away then, are you happy? Su-yan didn't say anything, just nodded silently. Are you unhappy? No, of course I'm happy. It's just that Su-yan felt a little uncomfortable. In fact, his family situation is very ordinary. My father only relies on a small tobacco and alcohol shop to support the family, which is indeed a bit stretched. Now, I suddenly received a gift from a wealthy woman. He really felt a little uncomfortable. Although this beautiful, elegant and wealthy woman was his close lover in his previous life, he still felt something strange. Good brother, don't think too much, okay? You are the person I love most in this world. If I don't love you, who else can I love? Be good. Seeing that Su-yan seemed a little silent, Yang Shui stood up and sat down beside him gently. Actually, I've already thought about it. I'll take care of you more in the future. With such a big group company and so many things to do, are you willing to let me work so hard all the time? From now on, apart from going to school, you will stay with your sister and learn how to handle the group's affairs, okay? While Yang Shui was persuading him gently, she couldn't help but touch Su-yan's face again. Boo! As she spoke, she even leaned forward and gave him a kiss. Chapter 13. From now on, I will treat her as my own daughter. Knock, knock, knock. Just as Yang Shui was about to kiss Su-yan's lips, there was a knock on the office door. Come in. She quickly stood up and tidied herself up a little, instantly regaining her cold and majestic look. With the sound of the door opening, a young and beautiful girl came in with several lunch boxes in her hands. "Mr. Yang, the lunch you requested is here. I'll put it on the coffee table for you." The girl who came in seemed a little restrained under Yang Shue's aura. After she put the lunchbox on the coffee table, she smiled, nodded, and quickly walked out. "Xiaoxue, come and sit down." Su Yang smiled and waved at Yang Shui, deliberately calling her Xiaoxue. "Good brother." After a moment, she regained her shy look. He walked over with a smile and held Su Yang's head in his arms. And gently stroked his hair. "Sister, are you always so serious in the company?" "Oh, yeah. Actually, I still think my sister looks best when she smiles." Su Yang gently hugged Yang Shue's waist and greedily sniffed her charming scent. "Sister, please smile more in the future, okay? I think your subordinates are a little afraid of you." Do you know, brother, how sad I have been without you these years? I put all my thoughts into hard work, studying hard and working hard. After so many years, this is what it has become. In fact, the only thing that hasn't changed is my feelings for you. I often miss you so much that my heart aches. Fortunately, you are finally back. I am so happy." As Yang Shui spoke, she hugged Su Yang tighter and tighter. It was so tight that Su Yang felt a little suffocated. "Sister, don't you know your own worth? If you hold me like this for a long time, I will be suffocated to death." "But my dear brother is right. Now that you are back, I will try to change myself. I will try to smile when talking to others and make myself smile every day." "My dear brother, do you think what my sister said is right? Brother, tell me." When Yang Shui looked down at Su Yang, she relaxed her arms. "Call." Su Yang let out a long sigh, his face turning a little red. "I was covered tightly just now and couldn't say a word." "Bo. Sister, just listen to your brother from now on and try to change." Yang Shui lowered her head and kissed Su Yang's forehead, and her voice became extremely gentle. "Well, sister's smile is really very beautiful, and the happier she is, the prettier she will be." Yang Shui did act too majestic and strong in front of outsiders. Of course. As a big boss, it is indeed normal to develop such aura. "My dear brother, do you think that sister is beautiful no matter what?" Bo. Yang Shui spoke gently, lowering her head and kissing Su Yang's face a few more times. "And it's getting closer and closer to my lips." Su Yang clearly felt that this sister didn't seem to have much experience in kissing. "But he has no experience. I just studied this kind of shots when I was watching romance movies. Yes, of course my sister is the most beautiful in my eyes." "Just kidding, of course your lover is the most beautiful." "Then, I have one last question for you. You and Xiaoxia really don't have any romantic feelings for each other, right?" "Sister, if I say yes, will you be willing to give me up?" Su Yang couldn't help but feel a little amused. He and Yang Xia are really just buddies. Even if they were squatting on the toilet facing each other, they wouldn't even glance at each other. The way she walks, talks, and dresses, she looks exactly like a boy. After being with her for so long, I even forgot that she is a girl. I can't bear to part with you. You belong to me. Don't worry, sister, Before he could finish his words, Yang Shui blocked them with her little mouth. A moment later, she blushed and let go of Su Yang. "Good brother, let's eat. After eating, I will take you to see some clothes." Su Yang smiled and nodded, then reached out to pick up the chopsticks and handed a pair to Yang Shui. The blush on her face is as beautiful as the morning clouds. The whole person has become as shy as a little girl. It was obvious that she had very little experience in this area. "By the way, brother, how is Xiaoxia doing at school today? Did she contact you?" "I made contact in the morning and she did go to the library to study," Su Yang said, picking up his phone and taking a look. "Yang Xia seldom goes to school on weekends. Occasionally I go there to play ball with Su Yang or something. But this kid has been there for half a day today and is very patient. Oh my god. There is no news about this guy till now. Could it be that he has already seduced the girl? Is it possible? That honest and introverted girl does look very well behaved. I didn't expect that Yang Xia actually fell in love with her. This matter. Forget it, let us not tell Yang Shui about it for now. Let me ask her, is it because she studied so hard that she forgot the time? No way. Yang Shui couldn't help but chuckle. No one knows a girl better than her mother. Having raised her since she was young, she knows Yang Xie very well. My dear brother, your responsibilities will be different from now on, you know? Xiaoxia is not only your good friend, but also your. Do you know what I mean? Well, of course I know. Isn't he my good son? Oh no, my good daughter. Well, although this is my sister's adopted daughter, I have always treated her as my own. It's just that this child is not very motivated and is too playful. Actually, it's my fault that I'm too busy and I don't have much time to discipline her. As Yang Shui spoke, her mood became slightly depressed. Don't worry, sister. I will treat her as my own daughter in the future, cough cough cough. What Su Yang originally wanted to express was very simple, that is, he would not treat Xiaoxia as an outsider. But the words that came out just sound awkward no matter how I listen to them. Well, brother, if that incident hadn't happened before, maybe our child would be in his teens now. It's okay, sister. We will have it in the future. Chapter 14. Why don't you report the progress to your uncle? While the two were chatting, Su Yang sent a WeChat message to Yang Xie. My friend, what are you busy with? Why don't you report the progress to uncle now? Come on, brother, open your mouth. Yang Shui looked at Su Yang gently, picked up a piece of tender fish and put it into his mouth. Then I watched him eat it carefully. Ding dong. A moment later. Yang Xie's message came back. Hee hee squeaky. Damn it. What happened? Did this guy succeed in striking up a conversation? What are you laughing at? Tell the truth. This good little girl is called Xiu Pingping. We are chatting in the woods, okay? I won't talk to you anymore. We are going out to eat soon. Wow. They all went to the woods. That's a great place to get active. Oh my god. I really can't tell. Okay, go ahead, you are such a man who has no humanity towards women. Su Yang couldn't help but smile slightly. Forget it, let her be. I guess the little girl doesn't know her background yet. By the time the other party finds out, this kid will probably be very depressed. Yang Shui ate herself and occasionally fed Su Yang a bite. Her face was filled with indescribable shyness and happiness. I don't know what she is thinking. Sometimes I couldn't help laughing, and my face became redder. She looks like a young girl thinking about love. Before I knew it, a hearty lunch was finished like this. Come on, dear brother. I'll take you to see the clothes in our company first. If you don't like them, we can go somewhere else. As Yang Shui spoke, she reached out and pinched Su Yang's face, and patted his strong chest. Don't forget to call me Auntie when there are people around. As she spoke, she couldn't help but chuckle. Yes, okay, Auntie. How could I forget this? It doesn't matter what you call it. As for the time when the relationship between the two needs to be made public, we'll talk about it then. Su Yang followed Yang Shui out of the office. A moment. Her aura changed again. He has become the same as before, cold and serious. Keep away from strangers. Sister, your expression. Seeing that there was no one around, Su Yang reminded quietly. The habits Yang Shui has developed over the years are indeed difficult to change in a short period of time. Yang Shui nodded slightly and responded softly. However, she didn't know how to change it for a while. Not long after, the two of them came to the Yang Shui clothing store on the first floor, which was filled with clothes produced by the group. Men, women, young and old, all year round, all kinds of styles. As soon as Yang Shui entered the mall manager came up to her directly with a smile on his face, cautious yet enthusiastic. I don't know how this elder sister knew that Yang Shui was coming. It's okay, Liu Fang, you go ahead and do your work, I can take a look around by myself. Yang Shui glanced at the mall manager, nodded slightly, and a barely perceptible smile appeared on her face. Okay, Mr. Yang, if you have anything, feel free to contact me. Having said that, the mall manager couldn't help but scratch his head and quickly turned around and left. Mr. Yang is a little strange today. There seemed to be a smile on her face just now, and it seemed so real, I must not have seen it wrong. And the voice doesn't seem so cold anymore, so strange. Su Yang, come over here. This is the men's area, take whatever you like. Yes, okay, Auntie. There are a lot of people in the mall, and it seems that everyone is quite impressed with Yang Shue's clothing. How about this shirt? Good. Okay, I want it. Suyan, where are these pants? Not bad. Okay, I want it too. The two chatted and watched while a salesperson followed closely behind them, constantly packing things. As long as Suyang nods, we will pack it up. Auntie, that's enough, that's enough. Now I have bought everything from head to toe, inside and outside, including pajamas. I bought several styles of pajamas alone. Is it okay? Well, that's enough. Suyang scratched his head a little embarrassedly and nodded slightly. It feels so good to be supported by your lover. Such a large pile of clothes would be worth a lot of money. He can't afford it anyway. Quick! You guys, help Mr. Yarn get the clothes to the car. At some point, the mall manager showed up again. He directed several sales clerks, carrying large and small bags of clothes, to help Yang Shui deliver them. Well, let's go. Yang Shui took a look, then nodded lightly, with a hint of gentleness in her eyes. After a while, all the big and small bags of clothes were loaded into Yang Shui's BMW X7. The entire trunk is full. Sister, you are so good to me. I don't know what I can give you. My dear brother, you can give me so much more in the future. Yang Shui looked Suyang up and down and liked him more and more. That handsome face, that strong body. Ding ling ling. The two were chatting quietly when Yang Shui's phone rang. Hello, Mr. Liu, you said, the car has been delivered. Okay, thank you so much. I will arrange for the finance department to settle the bill for you as soon as possible. Oh, it turns out that the car I ordered at noon has been delivered. Brother, let's go back to the office. The car keys have been delivered to the office. So soon. Suyang looked around and saw a brand new Tank 300 parked near the company's gate. Black Travisor. This should be the one. Seeing Suyang's happy expression, Yang Shui couldn't help but smile. Outside, she seldom smiles. But seeing her beloved happy, she couldn't help but smile from the bottom of her heart. Come on, dear brother. After you get the keys, you can go out for a drive. But, you must be careful. Yes, I understand, sister. The two of them talked in low voices and soon returned to the office. The car keys were on Yang Shui's desk. Good brother. Before Suyang picked up the key, Yang Shui reached out and put her arms around Suyang's waist. When I give you something in the future, please keep it well, and don't feel any psychological burden. The less you want it, the sadder your sister will be. In fact, even my sister is yours, understand? My dear brother. Yang Shui said this and put her arms around Suyang's neck. The rosy lips also came closer. Chapter 15. This kid is making pretty fast progress. Good brother, let's go for a spin. Yang Shui shyly let go of Suyang, licked her slightly numb lips, and put the car keys in his hand. Eyes rolling, face blushing. Okay, sister, I'll go out for a walk. Suyang grabbed the key, smacked his lips, savoring the fragrance between Yang Shui's teeth, with an indescribable smile on his face. My sister's food tastes just so good. Having said that, he waved his hand and was about to go out. Brother, you can go home directly later. I will go back after taking care of a few more things. Got it, sister, let's go. Suyang couldn't help but feel happy when he heard Yang Shui's advice, which seemed to have a hidden meaning. The sister who has been waiting for 18 years, her little universe really exploded. She seemed to be more anxious than him. She always wanted to pat him on the shoulder, or take the opportunity to kiss him. Walking out of the gate of Yang Shui Clothing Group, Suyang pressed the car key. Really? It's that black time traveler. Boom! With a roar, the car quickly rushed onto the road. Good. Every man may have a dream of off-road driving, and now Suyang also has the qualifications to dream. Ding dong. The car had been driving on the road for a while when Suyang's cell phone rang. I glanced at my phone and found it was a WeChat message from Yang Xia. I pulled over and then clicked on the message. Suyang, we finished our meal and went back to the library to study together. I even held her hand today, sour. Oh my god. This kid is making pretty fast progress. Before the truth was revealed, everything seemed to be going smoothly. Let me show you our photo. You'll be so jealous. A moment later, Yang Xiaojun sent a photo with Xiu Pingping. The two of them put their heads together, the little girl looked shy and her face was blushing. It seems that this little girl was indeed fooled by Jiangxia. Har har har, what do you think, my friend? Isn't this little girl so well behaved? Such a well behaved little girl is simply the best of the best. Yes, yes, yes. It's really good. Congratulations, old friend. Har har har. After most of the day's efforts, Jiangxia started by chatting her up and finally held her hand. This record is really good. By the way, brother, Auntie bought us a tank 300. Do you want to try it out? Really? Where's the car, Happy? Of course, Uncle is driving around right now. Har har, can you call Uncle to pick you up? Please don't come over. I was planning to take my little girl to the movies. Now that we've just held hands, shouldn't we strike while the iron is hot? Wow. You've already held my hand in just half a day and you're still not satisfied. Do you still want to kiss my little mouth? Don't be anxious, why do you want to compete with your uncle? Suyang couldn't help but smile, so he sent her another message. Okay, when you need your uncle to pick you up, just send me a message anytime. Good. My friend still understands me. By the way, please don't tell my mom about this, my friend. TSK, what's wrong with you looking down on me? Suyang twitched his lips and decided to just let things take their own course for now. Even if Yang Shui knew about it, it would not change her attitude in this regard in a short time, and it might even backfire. Har har, I think so. That's it, let's stop talking, we are talking about life. Okay. Talking about life. It's kind of interesting, but I'm afraid you won't talk too deeply. Suyang smiled and threw the phone aside. Keep on writing. About an hour later, Suyang drove the car directly into Yang Shui's residential area. As soon as I got downstairs, I saw her BMW X7 parked there. My sister is back so soon. After parking the car, Suyang came to Yang Shui's car and took a look inside. The clothes I bought for him are still in the trunk. So he took out his cell phone and called Yang Shui. Sister, are you home? Yes, dear brother, sister just got home, where are you now? It's downstairs. Come down and get some clothes together. Right away. When Yang Shui heard that Suyang had actually arrived downstairs, her heart began to beat faster and faster. She felt a little empty during the hour he was away. After a while, Yang Shui walked out of the elevator quickly. Younger brother. Looking at Suyang with a smile on his face, Yang Shui couldn't help but smile shyly. If they weren't outside, she would have happily thrown herself into his arms. The two of them took 5 or 6 trips before they finally moved all the things they bought for Suyang back home. Yang Shui took them out one by one and helped him put them in the closet. Looking at the busy figure, Suyang couldn't help but hug her slender waist. Good brother. Accompanied by a gentle and sweet tremolo, Yang Shui turned around. She narrowed her eyes slightly, stretched out her arms, and hugged Suyang's waist tightly. Her cheeks also turned pink. She greedily sniffed the youthful scent on Suyang, and her breathing became rapid. She stretched out her hand and hooked it around his neck. She pulled it down hard and moved her red lips closer to it. A moment later, the two kissed each other. My dear brother, in this life, never leave your sister again, okay? 18 years of waiting has changed me into a different person. You know what, brother? You went out for a drive this afternoon. I felt empty when I didn't see you for a while. Yang Shui hugged Suyang's head and stared at him intently. It seemed as if he would disappear in the blink of an eye. Then I have to go to class during the day from Monday to Friday, and I can only come back after school. Suyang couldn't help but sigh. My sister's powder keg really exploded. Don't you even have that little bit of self-control now? You feel empty after just 1 hour of not being together? Well, I need to learn to control myself, but my good brother is so cute. Yang Shui lifted her long hair that was scattered on her forehead and stroked her hot face. By the way, brother, is Xiaoxia coming soon? In a moment, Yang Shui's originally red face turned pale. I was so focused on being affectionate before that I completely forgot about everything else. But now I suddenly remembered. Yang Shui jumped up immediately in fright. In her daughter's eyes, Suyang is her friend's child. How could the two of them get together? Good brother, hurry up. No, good brother, hurry up. You must not let Xiaoxia find out about what happened between us. Chapter 16. Uncle is here, come quickly. Yeah, okay sister. However, Suyang didn't want to tell others about Yang Xue's flirting with girls, so he nodded as Yang Xue suggested. Brother, go take a shower. I'm worried that you'll smell of my perfume. Okay, sister. I'll go right away. Suyang couldn't help but smile, then he went to his room to get his pajamas, and went to the bathroom outside to take a shower. When Suyang came out of the shower, Yang Xue had already cleaned up and entered the bathroom in her room. Cool. Comfortable. Suyang sat on the sofa in the living room and glanced at his mobile phone. Oh wow. Before I knew it, it's already 7 o'clock. Yang Xue is a really good boy and he cooperated very well today. If you come back earlier, your uncle's happiness will be gone. Not long after. The sound of a hairdryer was heard in Yang Xue's room. She washed really quickly today. Actually, it's just that the tenderness lasted a little longer. Is it worth making such a fuss? Yang Xue came out of the bedroom. She was wearing a loose pink pajamas and her long fluffy hair was draped back. The fair and tender face has returned to normal. Brother, why did you change your clothes? Are you going out? Suyang had already changed into a newly bought sportswear, holding the car keys in his hand, ready to go out to pick up Yang Xue. Yes, sister. I'll go pick up Yang Xue. She just sent a message saying that the movie was about to end and asked Suyang to pick them up at the cinema entrance. As a good brother, I must go and pick it up. Of course. The most important thing is because of her good relationship with her mother. This silly girl is actually working so hard now? Why doesn't my sister believe it? Yang Xue walked up, reached out to help Suyang straighten his collar, and then used her hands to comb his hair. Then, I couldn't help but touch his face again. Maybe she's reading a novel in the library. It's okay, sister. Don't worry, I'll pick her up now. Well, go ahead, brother. Be sure to drive slowly on the road. Let's order takeout today. It's a bit late to cook now. Let's just eat takeout. Sister has been working hard, so don't cook. Suyang smiled and winked at Yang Xue, then turned and left home. Be safe. She smiled and nodded, but couldn't help blushing again. According to the location Yang Xue sent to Suyang, Suyang quickly drove to the roadside in front of the cinema. Really? Not far from the door, Yang Xue was holding a girl's hand, and the two were happily chatting about something. My friend, look at the road. The black tank 300 is here. Come over quickly. Suyang looked at the two people who were being intimate, smiled and sent a WeChat message to Yang Xue. A moment later, Yang Xue saw Suyang's car coming and came over holding the girl's hand. Come on Ping Ping, you go up first. By the way, Ping Ping, this is my best friend, his name is Suyang. As soon as the two arrived, Yang Xue quickly opened the door and helped Xiu Ping Ping sit on it. Hello Suyang. The girl's voice is weak, soft and very pleasant to hear. He really looks very well behaved and obedient. Hello. Suyang smiled and nodded, taking a closer look at the girl. She looks good, but a little thin. My friend, let's send Ping Ping back to school first, and then we can go home. Okay, no problem, let's go. Suyang glanced at the two people in the back seat through the rearview mirror and couldn't help but twitch his lips. Yang Xue was indeed quite horny and he actually put his arm around the girl's waist. And the little girl also snuggled shyly in her arms. Only, Suyang was very puzzled about one thing. No one was wearing thick clothes, and Xiu Ping Ping just snuggled in Yang Xue's arms. Couldn't she feel anything strange? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Is it really so mediocre? It's really unbelievable. Suyang drove slowly, leaving the two of them plenty of time to be intimate. Not long after, the car stopped at the gate of Jiangcheng University. So fast. The two of them woke up as if from a dream, and in the blink of an eye, they arrived at school. It's like flying speed. The girl got off the car, waved goodbye to Yang Xue shyly, and also waved politely to Suyang. Oh, it feels so good. Watching the girl's back disappear in the campus, Yang Xue couldn't help but scream, then lay down comfortably in the back seat. How's it going, buddy? Did you have a great time today? Har har har, it feels so good. How about it, buddy, is my girl good or not? The more I talk to her, the more I think she is top notch. Oh, you definitely don't understand this. She's so young and she's a top grade girl. She's so skinny and small, but she looks like a well-behaved girl. It's better to be young. What do you know? Young people are more adaptable. Har har, drive, go home. The two chatted happily and hurried home quickly. However, something happened today that made me very embarrassed. Oh. I am the one who is so disgusting. After being happy for a while, Yang Xia suddenly felt a little depressed. What's wrong, buddy? Did that little girl find out about you? That's not the case, and I don't want to tell her so early. But have you ever thought that there is no such thing as a wall that is impenetrable? What if your secrets get to Xiu Pingping's ears? Su Yang smiled faintly. As an old friend, he was still worried about her. I will definitely tell her about this sooner or later, but our relationship is not deep enough at the moment. It takes some time to build up a deep relationship. But today when we went to the restroom together, I forced myself to go to the men's restroom. Oh my eyes. It's so disgusting I can't. Har har har. This time Su Yan couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into laughter. Then why don't you go to the ladies' room with Xiu Pingping? It would be great if you could go in and out together, loving each other. Oh shit. I haven't told her yet. Chapter 17 Secret Plan. By the way, my friend, Xiu Pingping has an older sister named Xiu Wanner. What do you think? Are you interested? Since you don't have a partner now, it would be great if we could each have one. Ahem. Su Yang was driving and was almost shocked by Yang Xia's words. No. I don't like girls who are too young. Oh my god. Her sister is 25, she's not young anymore, she's 7 years older than you. Really, I saw the photo of her sister today. She is also a well-behaved girl. You will definitely like her if you meet her. Let us make an appointment to go out and play together later. Yang Xia didn't care about what Su Yan said. They've been friends for so long, so she still knows very well whether he has a partner or not. Su Yang didn't say anything. Anyway, it's better to say less about such things. If I say too much, it might make my buddies think too much, but there is really no point in that. By the way, buddy, can you give me another tip? Tell me about it. Tomorrow is Sunday. I want to invite my daughter Ping Ping to my house. She said her cooking is delicious. Fuck. Su Yan couldn't help but look at the rearview mirror. Is this guy too anxious? You're going to take the little girl home the next day. Just bring it with you. Let me and my auntie have a taste of your Ping Ping's cooking. No. You know, Mom doesn't agree with me liking girls. But you are my brother, you have to help me. Yang Xia turned over and sat up, then patted Su Yang on the shoulder. My friend, do you have any way to send my mom out tomorrow? What? I'm serious. If my mom was at home, I wouldn't dare let Xiu Pingping come over. For the sake of your brother's happiness, please help me. Oh my god. How can I help you? Will Auntie listen to me? Here are 2 movie tickets for tomorrow afternoon. Here they are for you. Yang Xia pondered for a moment, reached into his pocket, took out 2 movie tickets, and shook them in his hand. Brother, you are encouraging me to make a mistake. Su Yang held back his laughter and said with a serious face. What's wrong? My mom bought you new clothes, and you invited her to a movie. It shouldn't be a big deal, right? You want me to invite your mom to watch a romantic movie? Aren't you worried about me? Su Yang took the movie ticket from Yang Xia and took a look at it. Fuck. What are you thinking, buddy? My mom is your dad's good friend. Besides, it's normal for the younger generation to ask the elders to watch a movie. But what if Auntie doesn't want to go? Su Yang shook the movie ticket, looking embarrassed. But I was really happy in my heart. There is no need to think about it, Yang Xia will definitely go, and she will be very happy. That depends on you to figure out a way. My mom has never had a boyfriend in all these years. If she watches a romantic movie, maybe she'll want to have one. Why doesn't Auntie have a boyfriend? She's so beautiful. Su Yan pretended to be unaware and showed a little surprise. I heard that she dated someone when she was young, but I don't know what happened later. To be honest, I hope my mom can find me a father. It's not easy for her to be alone. Yang Xia said this and couldn't help but sigh. Oh, okay, I'll think of a way. Su Yang also sighed and stuffed the movie ticket directly into his pocket. The distance from school to home is still very short. After a while, the two drove back home. Silly girl, why are you studying so hard today? Come, let mom see. Yang Shui saw the two of them return home and walked over with a smile. Ahem. Yes, mom. I encountered a problem today and I didn't know how to solve it. I looked up a lot of information, so I came back late today. Yang Xue smiled awkwardly and blinked at Su Yan. Good boy, that's good. Just keep working hard like this in the future. You're so good. As Yang Shui spoke, she reached out and stroked Yang Xue's short hair. Yeah, I still pulled her back from the library, Auntie. Yang Xue is really working hard now. Su Yang was also laughing and joking aside. Okay, you two are good kids. Come on, Auntie bought a lot of delicious food today, you two should eat well. Oh, make up. Su Yang was stunned and understood immediately. It seems that Yang Shui not only cares about her daughter's health, but also seems to care more about Su Yan's health. But, with his strong body, does he still need to take supplements? After a sumptuous dinner, Su Yang was pulled into Yang Xue's room. My friend, can you think of a way to get my mom to leave home earlier? I'm worried that the time is too short and I'm afraid I won't even be able to cook a meal. Fuck. Su Yang couldn't help but laugh instantly. You still want to make it a done deal? Why are you in such a hurry? Stop it. My friend, please help me, please. This concerns my lifelong happiness. Call me uncle. Fuck. Why do you always ask me to call you uncle recently? Okay, uncle, uncle. Is that okay? Har har har, when I hear people calling me uncle, I feel an indescribable sense of maturity, and it feels great. Okay, I'll go talk to my auntie. However, if the conversation fails, don't blame your brother. As long as you try your best, I believe in you, it should be fine. Thank you, buddy. Bang. Yang Xue said this, and happily reached out and patted Su Yang on the shoulder. Okay, I'll give it a try, wait for my news. Su Yang said this, picking up his phone and shaking it. Then he walked out of Yang Xue's room. Knock, knock. With a slight knock on the door, Yang Shui opened the door for Su Yang. Before he could say hello, he was pulled in by Yang Shui. Afterwards, there was a beautiful woman in his arms, as warm and soft as jade. My dear brother, are you and Xiaoxia playing games again? Well, we fought for a while. Su Yang gently hugged Yang Shui and greedily sniffed the charming fragrance emanating from her body. By the way, brother, I brought you a few books from the company. They are all about the basic knowledge of the clothing industry. Take some time to read them carefully. Who makes you my good brother? I want to train you well. Hey, I asked Xiaoxia to study before, but she just refused to learn, which really gave me a headache. As Yang Shui spoke, she let go of Su Yang's arms, turned around and picked up a few books from the bedside table. Chapter 18, Brother, I'm not sleepy yet, what should I do? My dear brother, you don't want to make your sister work too hard, right? Just take a look at it when you have time. I know this is different from the computer major you studied. In fact, as long as you work hard, nothing will be too difficult to learn. After Su Yang took the book, Yang Shui gently leaned her head on his shoulder. Cutting and sewing techniques, clothing modeling, fashion design from entry to mastery. Su Yang flipped through it casually and felt a little overwhelmed. This is really like a mountain between two different trades. It's okay, dear brother. Just take a look at it. It's enough to have a basic understanding. Bo. Yang Shui looked straight at Su Yang, put her arms around his neck, and leaned over to kiss him. Haven't you kissed enough this afternoon, sister? Su Yang couldn't help but smile and hugged Yang Shui tightly in his arms. How can this be enough? My brother is so handsome and cute, and I've been waiting for him for 18 years. She kept stroking Su Yang's face and spoke in a faint voice. Sister, how about we go to your office tomorrow? Oh? What do you think, brother? When Yang Shui heard this, her eyes suddenly lit up and her face turned shy. She didn't know what Su Yang's words made her think of, but it was probably something that made her feel shy. Sister, I can't understand these books at all now. As the saying goes, everything is difficult at the beginning, and each new line of work is like a mountain between two mountains. I want to go to your office with my sister and ask you to explain the basics to me. Will I be able to learn faster this way? If my sister doesn't have time, I can also arrange for one of my subordinates to help me explain. He took a few books in his hands and patted them, with obvious anticipation in his eyes. In fact, he also really wanted to be alone with Yang Shui. If you go to a hotel and book a room, it seems that it is not impossible for the two of them to study together. No problem, of course I told you. How can I feel at ease if someone else tells you? Yang Shui patted Su-yan's chest and agreed without any hesitation. In fact, she was also very, very happy in her heart. In the office, I can naturally be alone with Su-yan. Then you can talk about whatever you want, kiss him if you want, or even. Okay, so it's settled then. Well, it's settled, dear brother. We'll go after breakfast tomorrow. I'll tell Xiaoxia that there's an emergency meeting at the company, and you can just go with me then. Yang Shui pondered for a moment and thought of a reason to go out with Su-yan. Well, sister is still smart. That's right, come on, reward your sister. Yang Shui smiled shyly and pointed at her pink face. Okay. Su-yan lowered his head and kissed her face without hesitation. Who knew she turned her head? He kissed her little mouth directly. Su-yan couldn't help but laugh secretly. This sister is really interesting. She can even do this kind of trick. Tap tap tap. Suddenly, footsteps were heard in the living room outside. The two were startled and quickly separated. But I soon understood that Yanxia must have gone to the bathroom outside. From the crackling, beeping sounds, you can tell that this style is undoubtedly hers. Boo! Okay, sister, go to bed early today, and we'll go early tomorrow. If your talk this morning goes well, I'll treat you to a movie this afternoon, okay? Su-yan hugged Yang Shui gently again and pecked her lightly. Looking at her expectant eyes, I would feel a little guilty if I didn't kiss her. Real. Yeah, doesn't your sister want to watch a movie with your brother? I want to. Of course I do. So let's make it a deal then. Yang Shui happily reached out and hooked Su-yan's neck again, and her happy face turned pink again. Even though she is 36 years old, she feels like a young girl with amorous feelings. Okay, it's settled. I'm going to rest, sister, remember to think of me at night. Su-yan smiled and winked at Yang Shui, then gently opened the door and went out. Back in his room, Su-yan took off his shoes and leaned against the head of the bed. Then he took out his cell phone and prepared to tell Yanxia about his communication with her mother. Ding dong. As soon as Su-yan turned on the screen, a message came. Wow. It turned out to be sent by Yang Shui. My dear brother, I am not sleepy yet, what should I do? Well. Su-yan looked at the time and it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. If I were in the school dormitory, the lights would have been turned off by now. Then I'll go over and chat with you for a while. Su-yan patted his chest, trying to calm his pounding heart. Sister does want to bitter. Isn't it because she's afraid that Xiaoxia will find out? Well, how about you come to my room and come back when you're sleepy laughing? Su-yan couldn't help but twitching his mouth, and then began to tease Yang Shui. It's still the same, it would be nice if there was a door in the wall between our two rooms shy. Yang Shui stared at the snow-white wall in front of her, and imagined a small door in her mind. In the dead of night, she opened the small door and sneaked in. Then he came to Su-yan's room. Then, she pushed Su-yan down. Sister is right. How about we contact a construction team tomorrow to knock down the middle wall and install a door? No. That would be too noisy. What should we do? How about we go to a hotel and get a room? Su-yan held back his laughter and continued to joke with Yang Shui. 18 years of longing for Su-yan made Yang Shui even want to stick to Su-yan. Especially when it's late at night and everyone is asleep, people will feel lonely. At this moment, Yang Shui seemed particularly uneasy. The person she loved most was right next door, but she couldn't hug him. She felt so uncomfortable in her heart that she felt like she was being tormented by 100 claws. Now? I would like to, but that girl Xiaoxia will definitely know. Yang Shui still cares a lot about her daughter, and it is indeed difficult for her to take such a reckless step. Then, how about I communicate with her? Just tell her that I like you, is that okay? No. Dear brother, let's take it slow, okay? Anyway, your sister has been waiting for 18 years. Looking at the message sent by Su-yan, Yang Shui couldn't help but be shocked. But you can't be so reckless, my daughter will definitely not be able to accept it. This is a good buddy. How did he suddenly become a dad? Chapter 19. I am a young man. Okay, then I'll listen to my sister. Su-yang also knew very well that this kind of thing could not be rushed. Even if he were asked to clarify this relationship with Yang Xia now, he actually didn't know where to start. Knock, knock, knock. The two were chatting excitedly when there was a knock on Su-yang's door. Hearing the hurried voice, I knew it must be Yang Xia coming. Come in. Su-yang responded and quickly closed the WeChat interface and turned off the screen of his phone. Squeak. With the sound of the door opening, Yang Xia slipped in with a smile, took off her slippers and sat down beside Su-yang's bed. How's it going, buddy? She looked at Su-yang excitedly, with anticipation in her eyes. Call me uncle and I'll tell you. Su-yang looked at the buddy in front of him and couldn't help feeling weird for a moment. From the heart, I have to change slowly. She is not only my buddy. She is my own daughter. Fuck. It's not over yet, bang. Yang Xia couldn't help but laugh out of anger, and reached out to slap Su-yang on the thigh. Damn it. How dare you hit your uncle? Su-yang reached out and wanted to push her down on the bed, but he changed his mind and immediately gave up the idea. This isn't just pure friendship anymore. Hurry up, tell your brother, is it done? Hiss. Su-yang rubbed his thigh, which was hurt by Yang Xia's beating, and couldn't help feeling depressed. As an elder, I feel embarrassed to fight with this little girl. It's really a bit frustrating. You're not going to shout, are you? You're asleep. Su-yang said this as he shrank his body and was about to get into the bed. Okay, shout, uncle, okay? Yang Xia scratched his head helplessly, then reached out to throw Su-yang's quilt away. Stop it, you're not wearing pants. Su-yang was startled and quickly grabbed the quilt. I was having a lively chat with Yang Shui just now, and I couldn't help feeling a little excited. Once you lift the quilt, it's easy to get embarrassed. Cut. Everyone is a man, as if no one has never seen it before. Hurry up, uncle has called out, is it time to speak now? Yang Xia was just pretending to lift the quilt and didn't really want to do it. When she heard Su-yang say that he was not wearing pants, she immediately put down her hands that were pulling the quilt. Don't worry, with uncle here, there's no way we can't handle it. After breakfast tomorrow, I'll go to the company with Aunt for a meeting. But it just so happens that Auntie does have something to do tomorrow. Oh my god. What a loss. I called you uncle for nothing. When will my mom come back? At least we have to have lunch. I told her I would like to take her to the movies, but she said she would think about it and might not go. Come on, bro. You must let my mom go to the movies. Please, bro. Upon hearing this, Yang Xia couldn't help but feel a little anxious. If she came too early, then her affair with Xiu Pingping would probably be exposed. Okay, I'll try my best. Don't just try your best, you have to help your brother, okay? Fuck. That's my aunt, not my girlfriend. How can I guarantee that I can get it done? For a moment, Yang Xia was speechless. Yes, I was only thinking about my own business and didn't consider so many things. Look at your movie ticket. This is the couple's room. You want me to invite my aunt to watch a movie in the couple's room? Haven't you ever thought about how my aunt would look at me? Or do you really want to create a good opportunity for your brother to pursue your aunt? Su-yang held back his laughter and looked at Yang Xia seriously. If this kid really means this, that would be great. Fuck. Yang Xia looked at Su-yang and couldn't help scratching his head. Yes. She originally bought the movie tickets to watch the movie with Xiu Pingping, and she specifically chose the couple's room. But, Auntie said if I read well, she would consider going to the movies with me. What book? Here. Su-yang smiled and pointed to a few books on the bedside table, then sighed slightly. These are all things from the clothing industry. I don't understand them. Oh, so it's these books. Mom let me read them before, but I couldn't get into them at all. But you can take a look. It seems that my mom really thinks highly of you. Brother, really, take a good look. As Yang Xia spoke, he couldn't help scratching his head, a thoughtful look on his face. If Auntie really went to the couple's seat with me to watch a movie, you wouldn't think too much of it, would you? I did watch it, and the couple seats would put us pretty close to each other. Su-yang looked at Yang Xia seriously, his face showing difficulty. Hey. It's okay, I believe your brother. I don't believe you can do anything to your dad's friends. ahem. Suyang almost spit out what he said. Damn it. This kid only knows this fake news. Yeah, you're right, I definitely wouldn't dare do anything to my aunt, but brother, I'm scared. Fuck, what are you afraid of? Why can't I be afraid? I'm a young man, if an aunt takes a fancy to me, I'll be helpless. Har har har. Damn it. You're just daydreaming. My mom has had so many suitors over the years that the queue for her is almost all the way to Paris, France, but you. I think you'd better forget it. Okay, it's settled. You must read the book carefully, har 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 har. Yang Xie laughed, patted Suyang on the shoulder, then left humming a little tune. Xiaoxia, why aren't you resting so late? What were you doing in Suyang's room? When Yang Shui heard Yang Xie leaving Suyang's room, she pushed open the bedroom door and walked out. Mom, Suyang and I are talking about studying. I'm going to bed now. I have to go to the library early tomorrow. Oh, good boy, go to bed quickly. Yang Shui couldn't help but sigh inwardly. It sounded like the two of them were chatting happily just now, they definitely weren't talking about studying. This silly girl is such a headache. My dear brother, what were you talking about with that girl Xiaoxia just now? Hug. Yang Shui was a little worried. After returning to the room, she immediately sent a message to Suyang. Chapter 20, 18 years older, perfect. Oh, we were talking about games. Suyang naturally also heard the conversation between the two outside just now, but Yang Shui obviously didn't believe it, otherwise she wouldn't have asked him. Well, let me tell you, how could this girl suddenly become interested in studying? I just don't believe it. By the way, brother, she has to go to the library tomorrow, is she really interested in any boy? Alas, she doesn't look like a girl now, I really don't know what kind of boy would like her. This. I'm not sure either. I'll ask later. Suyang couldn't reveal Yang Xie's secret for the time being, so he could only play dumb. There was no point in stopping her now anyway. There is no benefit other than making her unhappy. Even my buddy can't do it. Well, okay. Go to bed early, dear brother. Don't sleep in tomorrow, okay? I'm going to take you to the company early, and I'll definitely give you some guidance, but you have to be obedient when the time comes, squeaky. Don't worry, sister. I will definitely study hard. Hug. Seeing the ambiguous message in Yang Shui's words, Suyang couldn't help but feel dazed. It feels so good to flirt with an older sister. Well, my brother is so good, let's go to bed quickly. Kiss. Okay, sleep sis, kiss. Early the next morning, Suyang was awakened by the crackling, beeping sounds coming from the bathroom outside. You don't have to think about it to know that this must be the masterpiece of the Yang Xie brothers. He gurgled once last night and again early this morning. He must have had a stomachache from eating out yesterday. Suyang shook his head speechlessly, then turned over and got up. I have to go to the company with Yang Shui today. It's exciting just thinking about it. Knock, knock, knock. Suyang was getting dressed when Yang Shui knocked on the door and came in. Good brother. Looking at Suyang's muscular body, Yang Shui's pretty face instantly turned pink. It's time to eat, brother. You should clean up quickly. But this was at home after all, so she just took a few glances and turned away shyly. Suyang looked at Yang Shui's charming back and couldn't help but feel dazed again. I am really looking forward to studying in the office today. Not long after, Suyang finished washing and packing. The three of them sat together and began to eat the breakfast that Yang Shui had prepared early in the morning. Even though she is a big boss, she is a pretty good cook. Xiaoxia, mom has to go to a meeting at the company today. I have something urgent to do and can't rest. Can you clean up your room when you are free? Yang Shui couldn't help but smile as she looked at her daughter who was eating voraciously. Yeah, I got it, mom. Don't worry, I will definitely clean it up. Yang Xie nodded with a smile, and secretly kicked Suyang, with indescribable excitement in his eyes. Okay, I'll check it out when mom comes back. Don't worry, mom. I will make sure everything is neat and tidy. Well, that's Suyang, bring your book with you to the company. I'll teach you the basics of the clothing industry when I'm free. You must study hard, understand? Don't let Auntie down. Yang Shui turned her head to look at Suyang again, her eyes flickered slightly, and then she spoke earnestly. Yes, I understand, Auntie. I will definitely read the book carefully and ask you if I don't understand. Suyang nodded quickly and agreed very happily. He looks like a good and obedient child. Good boy, so good. Yang Shui couldn't help but smile, and secretly touched Suyang with her foot under the table. Suyang's heart was pounding for a while. What is this? First Yang kicked me, and now you touch me. Amen, it's really interesting. Mom, I'm going to the library. By the way, buddy, where are the car keys? After Yang Xie finished eating, he wiped his mouth and prepared to leave. Oh. Suyang smiled, took out the key of the Tank 300 from his pocket and handed it to Yang Xie. Silly girl, you must drive carefully, your mother is worried about you. Don't worry, Mom. I've driven your car out for many times. Har har, let's go. Yang Xie snatched the car keys from Suyang's hand and left the house happily. Crack. With the sound of the door closing, there were only 2 people left at home. Good brother, then, do we too still need to go to the office? When Yang Shui saw her daughter leave, she suddenly became bolder. Even the way he looked at Suyang became somewhat aggressive. The 2 of them went to the company office just to avoid Yang Xie. Now that the girl has left, does that mean I don't have to go to the office anymore? After all, when 2 people are discussing academic issues, basic knowledge of the clothing industry together, it is naturally more lively at home. Well, let's go to the company. Yang Xie came back for some reason. Didn't you ask her to clean up the room? After hearing what Yang Shui said, Suyang was stunned. This. Yang Xie must come back in the morning. And he will bring Xiu Pingping here too. If the 2 of them don't leave home, no one will be able to accomplish anything. Well, then listen to your brother, let's eat quickly. As Yang Shui spoke, she blinked at Suyang, with a hint of coquettishness clearly visible in her eyes. He also reached out and wiped Suyang's face. Okay, eat quickly. Soon, the 2 finished their breakfast. Yang Shui worked quickly for a few minutes and soon finished cleaning up and washing the dishes. Sister, you are really good at work. I am happy just thinking about living with you for the rest of my life. Have you decided to spend your whole life with your sister? Yang Shui took off her apron and hung it up, then walked up to Suyang with a shy smile. She stretched out her arms and wrapped them around his waist. Certainly. Sister has been waiting for me for 18 years. I have remembered you since I was a child. For me, it is 2 lifetimes to live one with you. Suyang reached out and held Yang Shui's head in his arms, and couldn't help but feel emotional. Matter if he is older, 18 years older, that is perfect. Sister will definitely treat you well. In my last life, I didn't have the chance, but in this life, you must not refuse. Although my sister is much older than you, but she definitely understands you better than a little girl, and will love you more. Chapter 21. I have no interest in little girls. Yang Shui looked at Suyang emotionally, with indescribable passion in her eyes. But there is still a hint of worry. She knew that she was much older than Suyang, and she also knew that Suyang did not have many memories of the past. Although her feelings for Suyang were as hot as a powder keg, she couldn't help but worry about their future. After all, Suyang is only 18 years old and still a young and tender boy. Well, I know, sister. I have no interest in little girls. Don't worry about anything, sister. I have made up my mind since the moment I saw you. Suyang could clearly hear Yang Shui's worry from her words. He even felt the heat that she was forcibly suppressing. Brother, you are so good. Come on, let your sister kiss you. After hearing what Suyang said, Yang Shui's eyes couldn't help but turn red. Even the voice he spoke was trembling slightly. She happily stretched out her hand, hooked Suyang's neck again, and her little mouth turned up. Boo! Okay, dear brother, let's go. Sister will definitely explain it to you in detail. Hurry up and get the book. Yang Shui licked her lips happily and raised her hand to pat Suyang's chest. Okay, sister. Suyang shook his dizzy head and hurried to the bedroom to get a book. This beautiful big sister is so attractive. Whenever I'm with her, I can't help feeling a little absent-minded. The 2 of them went downstairs quickly, and Suyang drove Yang Shui's BMW X7 out of the community and headed towards the company. Yang Shui leaned against the passenger seat, looking at Suyang from time to time. I don't know what she was thinking, but her face had turned pink. Brother, I suddenly remembered something. Oh? Sister, you said. Suyang couldn't help but reach out and grab Yang Shui's arm, then gently pulled and held her little hand. Warm, soft, and smooth. It really feels good to need it. Brother, since you and Xiaoxia both majored in computer science, and our group headquarters also has a network department, do you want to take a position there and practice your management skills? Moreover, the network department is also an internal service department and has some connections with all other departments. If you train in there for a while, you will gradually become familiar with everyone. As Yang Shui spoke, she backhanded and directly held Su Yang's hand in her own. Rather than having her little hands kneaded, she preferred to knead Su Yang's big hands. The more she rubbed the slightly rough big hands, the more she liked them. But sister, I don't have much time to come here during the week. Sometimes I don't have classes in the afternoon, so I can come here. It's okay, little brother. Just make yourself familiar with the crowd first. When you are junior or senior, you will have plenty of time. It would be nice if more people came by then. And I will have to go to other departments for some training in the future. As Yang Shui spoke, a hint of pity flashed in her eyes. The next few years may be difficult for Su Yang. Although he is your man, how can you cultivate him if you don't have the heart to let him suffer a little? Okay, sister, I will definitely work hard. Su Yang nodded and felt much more comfortable. Even if he had the best free lunch, he would still not be happy. Yang Shui has worked hard for so many years, suffered from the pain of missing her parents, and experienced countless hardships in starting a business. He is only 18 years old now. Even if Yang Shui likes him very much, he doesn't want to be a lying little puppy. Men. You always have to work hard and give something for the woman you love. Well, I believe. You know, brother, 18 years ago, your college entrance examination score was among the top 3 in Jiangcheng University. I've heard Xiaoxia mention you many times before, I even thought you were this girl's boyfriend. Yang Shui said, with a look of embarrassment on her face. Unexpectedly, when she saw Su Yang for the first time, she would be so confused. If her daughter hadn't been there, she might have hugged Su Yang into her arms. I have been thinking hard for 18 years. Unexpectedly, he suddenly appeared in front of her. In an instant, she was so confused that she almost fainted. Thanks to Xiaoxia. If it weren't for her, we might have passed each other. In this case, it would be too tragic. Yes, brother, sister is so happy. As Yang Shui said this, she couldn't help but stretched out her hand to rub her wet eyes. Ding dong. When he was almost at the Yang Shui clothing building, Su Yang's cell phone rang and he received a WeChat message. However, Su Yang didn't plan to watch it now. Because he guessed that this was most likely a message from that kid Yang Shui. After a while, the car stopped in front of the building. Sister, you go up first, I'll go over after I park the car. Yang Shui smiled and nodded, then opened the car door and went out. In an instant, her powerful aura as a president was activated again. Su Yang looked at her charming back, then drove the car to the parking lot. After parking the car, Su Yang turned on his cell phone. Really? It really was a message from Yang Shui. My friend, have you and my mom left home? In such a hurry? Su Yang couldn't help but smile, then sent her a message back. Well, we have both arrived at the company, you can take your Xiu Pingping home to show your love. Don't worry, my friend, we won't go back until we finish watching the movie. That's great, buddy. I'll definitely ask Pingping to date her sister later. It would be so cool for the two of us to date her sister. We'll talk about it later. Okay, I have to go upstairs to read, otherwise your mom won't go to the movies with me. Su Yang was speechless when he saw Yang Shui's message. How can a 25-year-old girl compare to his sister Yang Shui? There is absolutely no comparison. Okay, buddy. I won't say thank you anymore. That's it for now. Well, bye. After Su Yang replied to the message, he picked up the book on the back seat and went to Yang Shui's office. Come on, brother, sit here. As soon as Su Yang entered the office, he saw Yang Shui already sitting at the tea table and making tea. Sister, are we going to have a lecture while drinking tea? Su Yang smiled and sat directly opposite Yang Shui. This sister is so nice, not only does she give lectures, she also makes tea for me. Chapter 22, From Lectures to Sofas. Well, brother, have some tea first. I will tell you some basic concepts of the clothing industry. As Yang Shui spoke, she poured a cup of tea and handed it to Su Yang. Thank you, sister. The clothing industry refers to enterprises and industries related to clothing design, manufacturing and sales. In fact, This industry is very large and covers a wide range of fields. For example, it can include menswear, women's wear, children's wear, sportswear, underwear, shoes and hats, accessories, etc. Yang Shui picked up the teacup, took a sip, and picked up a book on basic knowledge. Then, based on my understanding of this industry, I began to give a focused explanation. The explanation was very serious and patient. Sister, what does Jiangcheng Clothing mainly do? Well, our group company has been developing for more than 10 years. In the beginning, we mainly made children's clothing, and later we made men's clothing, women's clothing, shoes and hats, etc. Didn't you see it when my sister took you to see the clothes before? All the clothes and shoes we got were produced by our group. Oh, that's quite complete. Su Yang couldn't help but be secretly shocked, his heart filled with indescribable admiration. It seems that Yang Shui has worked really hard over the years. Yes, brother, do you know why our group is called Jiangcheng Clothing? As she spoke, a look of reminiscence flashed across Yang Shui's face. Is it to commemorate our lost love? In fact, when Su Yang saw the name for the first time, he naturally understood it this way. He and Yang Shui took one character from each of their names to form the name of the company. Well, yes, I believe my brother has already thought of it. As Yang Shui spoke, she picked up the teapot and refilled Su Yang's cup. The night before I met you, I dreamed of you. I cried for a while after I woke up. But I didn't expect that you would suddenly appear beside me at night. As Yang Shui was talking, she forgot about the lecture. Even my eyes became moist. Okay, sister, now that I'm here, don't think about the past anymore. Su Yang looked at Yang Shui's infatuated look and couldn't help feeling moved. Then he pulled out a tissue and reached out to wipe her eyes. Well, I am so happy that I want to cry. Maybe it's because I missed you for too long. Then you suddenly came to me, and my heart couldn't calm down. Sister, didn't he sleep well yesterday? Har. As Yang Shui spoke, she couldn't help but yawn. Sister, what should we do? We have to go to work tomorrow, and you haven't had a good rest for 2 days. Su Yang felt a little distressed. It seems that my sister really cares too much about me. It's okay, brother. I think he'll be fine in a few days. As Yang Shui spoke, she unconsciously held Su Yang's hand, caressing gently. How about you take a rest on the sofa for a while? There's no rush for the lecture. I'll find time to take a closer look later. I asked you to come to my office today, because I wanted to spend some time alone with my sister. Hearing this, Yang Shui couldn't help but chuckle. And the strength in his hands was also a little greater. Actually, my sister thinks so too. Okay, let's go and rest for a while. I see you haven't slept well either, okay. Yang Shui said this and stood up first. Holding Su Yang's hand, she walked towards the sofa. Yeah, I didn't sleep well. Su Yang smiled awkwardly and walked over with Yang Shui. The books were just thrown on the tea table. Whether you read the book or not, there is no rush now anyway. Do you want to watch any TV shows or movies? There is a large color TV in Yang Shui's office, which is mainly used by subordinates to report their work to her. Let's sit down and chat for a while. Nowadays, everyone is playing with their phones and fewer people are watching TV. Well, okay, dear brother. By the way, wait a moment. I have a blanket here. Let me get it. In the past, Yang Shui often used it to cover herself when she was resting in the office. The weather is not too hot now, but it is still easy to catch a cold if you fall asleep. Talking. Yang Shui walked to the cabinet behind the large desk and took out a red blanket. Then he came to Su Yang and sat next to him. Come here, sister, come closer to me, I'll hold you and sleep for a while. Su Yang said this and stretched out his hand to hold Yang Shui in his arms. She took off her shoes, put her legs on the sofa, leaned back, and lay in Su Yang's arms. Su Yang spread out the blanket and covered Yang Shui with it. Good brother. Sister, I feel so safe now. I don't know why I feel sleepy all of a sudden. Yang Shui lay comfortably in Su Yang's arms, stretched gently, then closed her eyes with a smile. But the two people's hands were still gently clasped together. Well, sister, take a nap. Having a beauty in my arms is like holding a warm, fragrant and soft jade. To say that it is difficult. Su Yang originally felt a little sleepy, but now, naturally he feels less sleepy the more he sleeps. I feel comfortable in my brother's arms. My mind feels so peaceful now. Yang Shui whispered softly. She was indeed a little sleepy. After all, she hadn't had a good rest for 2 consecutive nights. And I usually fall asleep at 3 or 4 in the morning. I have to get up early in the morning to make breakfast for Su Yang and Yang Xia. It's impossible to say that I'm not sleepy. Go to sleep, my dear Xie Xue. Su Yang freed up one hand and patted it gently, just like coaxing a child to sleep. My dear brother, actually, 18 years ago, I always called you brother. But, the moment I saw you again, I suddenly had a strong desire to protect you for the rest of my life. Because in my sister's eyes, you are so young, so handsome, and so cute. It's like a little angel sent by God to the mortal world to save me. Well, so sister just wants to call me brother. Su Yang didn't care about what he was called. After all, between lovers, as long as both parties can accept it, what's wrong with that? You can call her sister, younger sister, auntie, little silly girl, of course it's all fine. That's not the case. Of course, it's okay to call you brother occasionally, as long as my good brother likes it. As Yang Shui spoke, her face instantly became redder. After all, she is already 36 years old, and when the title brother came out of her mouth, she still felt a little indescribable weird. Chapter 23. If you have the ability, just open it. I don't believe it. The two chatted slowly. Although Su Yang's hands were occasionally disobedient, seeing that Yang Shui was indeed sleepy, he forced himself to restrain his restless heart. Sister, you smell so good. Su Yang gently lifted Yang Shui's hair, put it on his nose and sniffed it gently. He soon sniffed her forehead and pecked it lightly. Then there's the face. Then he kissed her red lips. Why is there no response? Su Yang was stunned and realized that Yang Shui had fallen asleep. All right. Then have a good sleep. I am really sleepy. Then don't bother her. After all, there are still many days to come, and as for cheering for love, it will be the same if we talk about it later. Su Yang gently adjusted the way he hugged Yang Shui, then leaned back on the sofa and closed his eyes. Before I knew it, Su Yang actually fell asleep as well. After an unknown amount of time, Su Yang felt Yang Shui in his arms move suddenly, and he was awakened. Elder brother. Suddenly, Yang Shui made a sweet sound, turned slightly, and then hugged Su Yang's waist. Brother, I just had a dream. Obviously, Yang Shui was still immersed in the dream just now. She had a smile on her face and was smacking her lips. It was as if I had eaten something delicious in my dream. Xie Xue girl, then tell your brother about your dream. Well. Yang Shui rubbed her eyes and soon came to her senses. But her pretty fair face quickly turned red. No. I won't say any more. Yang Shui hugged Su Yang's waist tightly and buried her head in his arms. It's obvious. She must have dreamed about something that made her very shy and she was too embarrassed to say it out loud. Good brother, I'm going to the bathroom. Having said that, Yang Shui turned over, sat down, put on her shoes, and hurried out of the office. Anyway, there's no one in the office today, so there's no need to worry too much about my image. Even the glass door at the entrance to the corridor outside was locked from the inside. And today is Sunday, the whole company is closed. There are only 2 security guards downstairs watching over the gate and parking lot. Even if the 2 of them screamed their throats out, probably no one would hear them. Fuck. Su Yang picked up his phone and looked at it. It was already past 11 o'clock. It seems that this sleep was not short. His legs were numb from being pressed by Yang Shui. Crack. He stood up and stretched his body, and there was a crisp sound in the joints of his arms and legs. Although my arms and legs were a little numb, I felt much better. I don't know what Yang Xia is doing at home. Do you want to scare her a little? My friend, what are you doing? Is it going well? Su Yang smiled, quickly edited a WeChat message and sent it. A moment later, Yang Xia's message came back. Ping Ping and I cleaned the room together this morning. Now Ping Ping is making lunch laughing. After we finish eating, we will do something more fun together squeaky. I go to. Su Yang couldn't help but twitch his lips when he saw Yang Xia's message. How can you two do something more joyful together? A moment. A picture appeared in Su Yang's mind. But after a moment, he cut off the screen. The key is that this is beyond common knowledge. As I thought about it, I felt terrible. By the way, buddy, You must hold my mom back and don't come back. Please, please, putting hands together. Don't worry, my friend. We have been communicating for the whole morning, and Auntie even praised me for learning quickly. Su Yang held back his laughter and casually said something to Yang Xue. Anyway, Yang Xue definitely doesn't want to go back now. It's almost noon. Do the two of them have to have something to eat together? After dinner, we have to go to the couple's lounge to watch a movie together, right? As for what movie you watch, does it matter? Of course it doesn't matter. What matters is who you watch the movie with. Okay. You guys go to the movies this afternoon, and you have to come back after 5 p.m. anyway. But the movie ends at 4 p.m. What are we going to do after the movie? That's easy. You can go shopping. My mom rarely goes shopping. If you accompany her, she might go. Oh my god. I learned so much today. I'm so tired. I just want to find a place to rest for a while. Then you can go have a big meal, then go to the cinema to rest, and then go shopping in the mall, right? Then why not find a hotel room and book a room, and after we finish watching the movie, we can just stay there and not go back laughing. TSK. Just think about it. If mom is willing to go with you, then go ahead and drive. I promise I have no objection. Yang Xie looked at Xiu Pingping, who was busy in the kitchen, with an indescribable smile on her face. I didn't take Su Yang's suggestion of booking a room seriously at all. In her eyes, my mom is just a cold-blooded person. How could she possibly book a room with someone? Not to mention that it was opened with Su Yang. You said that. I really won't go back, har har. Okay, if you have the ability, then go ahead and open it. I don't believe it. Oh my god. Su Yang wanted to say a few more words when he suddenly heard footsteps outside. It seems that Yang Xue is back. So I quickly closed WeChat and put my phone in my pocket. Good brother. After Yang Xue came back, she stretched out her arms towards Su Yang. Let's go out for dinner. Sister is hungry. Well, let's go. I'm a little hungry too. As they talked, they hugged each other tightly. Boo. A few minutes later, the two of them left the office. Brother, do you want to eat Western food or Chinese food? Let's have Chinese food. I'm not used to Western food. Okay, there's a good Chinese restaurant at the south end of Tu Street. There are also private rooms for couples. Would you like to give it a try? As Yang Xue spoke, she took out her cell phone and prepared to book a seat. Okay, let's book a private room. Su Yang's eyes couldn't help but light up. When dining with my sister, it would be best to go to a couple's room. Now the two. In fact, it is just revisiting the past and truly falling in love. It's just that this relationship is a bit secretive, which is really not pleasant. Chapter 24. Do you understand this called maturity? Under Yang Xue's command, Su Yang drove quickly to the Chinese restaurant. We're in this together. Su Yang looked up at the name and couldn't help but be moved. This name is very appropriate. Sister, this restaurant has a great name. Yes, brother. A friend mentioned this restaurant to me by chance. Actually, I have never been here, really. As Yang Xue spoke, a hint of embarrassment could not help but flash across her eyes. Elder sister. Su Yang couldn't help but smile. Don't think too much, sister. I really don't care whether you have been here or not. I just want to say that the literal meaning of this name is quite good. From spending the past 2 days with Yang Xue, I can tell that she has very little experience in even kissing. For a restaurant like this for couples, it is highly unlikely that she would come here with another man. We're together. Well, actually, sister has already made up her mind. No matter you dislike it or not, sister will love you well for the rest of your life. Yang Xue leaned against the passenger seat, staring at Su Yang intently, her face flushed. The boy in front of her is the lover she has been thinking about day and night. Sometimes I even miss you so much that it hurts. I even dreamed of him coming back to life countless times. But after waking up, I could only shed tears. Now. He really crossed a cycle to find her. How could she let him go? Even though he is only 18 years old now, she will definitely hold onto him desperately. How could I possibly dislike such a mature and beautiful sister? If I were old enough now, I would get married with you right away. Real. After hearing what Su Yang said, the smile in Yang Xue's eyes became even more intense. Of course. Su Yang said as he parked the car in the parking lot in front of the hotel. Let's go, brother. The private room we booked is on the second floor. The two came out of the parking lot and walked directly towards the hotel's entrance. By the way, I wonder how Xiaoxia will eat lunch? Should I ask her to come over and eat with us? As she walked, Yang Shui suddenly thought of her daughter. I didn't know whether she was at school or at home, and I felt a little worried. It's okay, sister. Xiaoxia told me that she's eating in the cafeteria today, and we're in a couple's restaurant. Aren't you worried that she'll think too much? Seeing Yang Shui want to take out her cell phone to make a call, Su Yang couldn't help but reach out and grab her arm. That guy is now in love with Xiu Pingping, so as his mother, you'd better not disturb them. Well, let's ignore this silly girl for now. Oh. I don't know why she has been running to school so often these past 2 days. She has never been like this before. Don't worry, sister. If she really falls in love with a boy, won't you support her? Su Yang gently held Yang Shui's hand and walked into the hotel together. Sister will definitely support her, but I always feel like something is wrong. Look, you and Xiaoxia have been together for such a long time, why doesn't she have any interest in you? Besides, my brother is so handsome and strong. Yang Shui said this and glanced at Su Yang with a slightly blushing face. We're just buddies, maybe she likes guys who are a little more feminine. Oh, now that you mention it, then I think that's a possibility. In fact, what I'm most worried about is that she might find a girl. No one knows a daughter better than her mother. Yang Shui's guess was indeed quite accurate. This girl has never acted like a girl since she was young. Okay, sister, don't think too much about it now. There's no point in getting anxious about this kind of thing. Let's just observe slowly in the future. Don't be anxious, okay? By the way, the name of our private room is Love at First Sight. Let's look for it. As they talked, they walked up the stairs to the second floor. In front, I saw. As they were talking, they came to the private room that Yang Shui had booked in advance. Wow! The layout of this room is perfect for couples. The walls of the room are actually pink. The dining table is also small, with candlesticks on it. You can sit facing each other or sit on one side. There are balloons of various colors hanging from the ceiling, and a circle of colored lights hanging on the wall. Good brother, what do you want to eat? After the two of them entered the box, Yang Shui did not mention Yang Xia again. Now this is their little world, so let us not talk about other things for now. Talking too much will definitely ruin the atmosphere. Then let's order the Love at First Sight set meal. This restaurant is really interesting. I'll scan the code and place an order. Su Yang directly scanned the QR code of the menu, and an ordering interface appeared. Good brother, let your sister do it, be obedient. As soon as Su Yang opened the interface, Yang Shui grabbed him. She didn't say anything and just started ordering. Su Yang just smiled slightly and didn't care about anything. His woman is a big boss and has plenty of money. Dear brother, let's sit aside, okay? Sister wants to be closer to you. Originally Su Yang was sitting opposite Yang Shui. After hearing what she said, he stood up and sat on the chair next to her. Then, Yang Shui leaned gently in his arms. Brother, do you remember? 18 years ago, we often went to the spicy hot pot restaurant in front of the school, and we sat next to each other. Until now, I still remember it vividly. You were as handsome and young then as you are now. At that time, I called you brother every day, and you called me Xiexue. Yang Shui sighed slightly and hugged Su Yang's arm a little tighter. 18 years have passed in a flash, and my brother is still the same. But my sister has become much older. Before she finished speaking, Su Yang kissed her and directly blocked her little mouth. What are you talking about? This is called maturity, don't you understand? Such a mature and beautiful big sister is the favorite of thousands of men. Anyway, that's what Su Yang thought in his heart. Yang Shui's current state is what he likes most. Mature and graceful, sensible and caring, she won't be petty with men. It is definitely the best choice in his mind. Knock, knock, knock. Before the kiss between the two ended, there was a soft knock on the door. Come in. The two were startled and quickly separated. I feel a little bit like a kiss. I was interrupted so suddenly, what a shame. Please add this to the bookshelf and urge for more updates. Please add this to the bookshelf and urge for more updates. Chapter 25. Brother, don't just look at your sister, eat it. Excuse me, their love at first sight set menu for number 2 is here. It turned out that the waiter was delivering the food with a cart. In order not to disturb the couple's meal too much, the entire set meal was delivered at once. After placing all the dishes on the table, the waiter politely left quickly. Good brother, let's eat. Yang Shui turned her head to look at Suyang, her eyes flickering slightly. After 18 years, the scene in her dream finally became a reality. This was the first time she had dinner with her lover in such an atmosphere. As soon as she stretched out her hand, Yang Shui touched Suyang's face and pinched it gently. Youthful and elastic. It really makes people unable to stop being excited. Why did I sleep so soundly in the morning? What happened in the dream? How happy it would be if I could practice it with him. Brother, don't just look at your sister, eat. Yang Shui saw Suyang staring at her face from time to time, and her heart beat faster. Although I don't know what will happen, I am full of expectations. Oh, are you eating your sister? Suyang couldn't help but laugh and made a joke following Yang Shui's meaning. Is this what you said? Don't just look at it, eat it. Yang Shui was instantly amused and reached out to put down her chopsticks. He hooked Suyang's neck, pulled him over, and let him lie on his legs. Then he lowered his head and kissed her. Sure. If my sister says it's edible, then it's edible. But it's better for you to let your sister eat you first. In such a private environment, Yang Shui's courage grew significantly. Not only did she kiss Suyang's lips actively, but her little hands were also a little disobedient. Gurgle. Suyang suddenly heard a rumbling sound in his stomach. It seemed that his body was starting to protest. Although it looks delicious, it can't actually fill your stomach. When Yang Shui heard the voice, she couldn't help laughing, then she let go of Suyang's lips and helped him up again. Call. Suyang stood up and sat up straight. He couldn't help but let out a long sigh and shook his head. This sister's kissing skills are getting more and more proficient. He felt dizzy from the kiss. What's wrong, dear brother? If you are hungry, just eat quickly. Do you want your sister to feed you? Yang Shui looked at Suyang in front of her, and her heart felt like it was growing weeds. Not only crazy but also messy. There's always a feeling of wanting to take action. Sister, don't you know how charming you are? Not only are you very, very beautiful, but you're also very attractive. Your kiss almost made me faint. Suyang breathed a sigh of relief and couldn't help but shout in his heart, awesome. My dear brother, is my sister really as good as you say? After hearing Suyang's words, Yang Shui couldn't help but feel more excited. Before she met Suyang, she had never been so excited. 18 years of ups and downs have made her extremely calm when facing various things. But facing Suyang, she couldn't calm down no matter what. Of course, doesn't my sister know that she is very beautiful? Suyang smiled, picked up a piece of fruit and put it directly into Yang Shui's little mouth. When my sister was young, she knew she was beautiful, but now she is older. While happily eating the fruit that Suyang handed to her, she reached out and pinched his face. Well, I heard from Yangxia that the people chasing you are lining up all the way to Paris. I feel jealous just listening to that. Don't listen to this silly girl's nonsense. It's untrue. Yang Shui looked at Suyang and her face turned even redder. In the past there were 3-5-7-8 people chasing me, but don't worry, dear brother, I ignored any of them. You are the only one in my sister's heart, how can there be room for others? Yang Shui said this and gently hugged Suyang's neck. Actually, the old me left you a long time ago, why do you keep thinking about me? Hey, it's all because my brother is so charming. Ahem. Suyang almost spit it out. Me? Charming? Can a grown man still use the word charming? To say that my sister is pretty and charming, her figure is alluring and her mature aura is charming, that's about right. Can a big man who smells like sweat be charming? What my sister said is true. 18 years ago, I was particularly attached to you. Now, you seem to be even more lovely and charming in my eyes than before. Yang Shui said this, gently patting Suyang's strong chest. You pushed me away and sacrificed your life to save my sister's survival. How could I forget you? Not to mention 18 years, even if it's 3 lifetimes. I don't want to forget you. Yang Shui became more and more emotional as she spoke, and as she spoke, she pressed her warm little face against Suyang's arms. Listen quietly to his strong heartbeat. Well, sister, eat, or it will get cold. Su-yang couldn't help but sigh inwardly, then gently patted Yang Shui on the back. What a loving and good woman. Okay, brother, after we finish eating, aren't we going to go to the movies? I don't think I've been to the cinema to watch a movie in all these years since you left last time. Yang Shui smiled shyly, then sat up straight and tidied her long hair. Even when she was fixing her hair, those shy yet charming eyes were still fixed on Su-yang. It was as if Su-yang would disappear if she wasn't paying attention. Well, let's go to the movies. It doesn't matter what movie it is. I just want to spend more time with my sister. My brother is so good. Which theater do you want to go to? How about I book the tickets now? As Yang Shui spoke, she picked up her phone and prepared to start booking tickets. No need, sister. I'm ready. It's at 2 p.m. Don't worry, sister will definitely like it. Su-yang gently stroked her little hand to stop her from taking any further action. Well, let's eat. We'll go over there after we're done. Yang Shui looked at the time and quickly picked up the chopsticks. Time flies. It felt like I had just come in a few minutes ago, but I didn't expect that an hour had already passed. Chapter 26. Is this kid's progress so fast? Har. Yang Shui finished her lunch and couldn't help yawning. Sister, you didn't sleep well these past 2 nights. Are you still not recovered? Su-yang also finished his meal and put down his chopsticks, turning his head to look at her with some heartache. It's okay, brother. I took a nap this morning and I feel much better now. I'll try to fall asleep early tonight. Yang Shui rubbed her eyes with a shy smile, then stood up. Good brother, wait for me for a while. I need to go to the bathroom. When sister comes back, we will go to the cinema together. As she spoke, she hugged Su-yang's head into her arms again, bent down and kissed him twice, then happily twisted her seductive body and left the box. Su-yang licked his lips and looked at Yang Shui's back, his heart pounding. This elder sister is so charming. You don't even have to think about how to tease her, she will approach you unexpectedly. Most importantly, she is so mature and charming that people can fall in love with her at once. I really don't know what kind of guerrilla tactics she will use in the dark movie theater. When the enemy advances, I retreat. When the enemy retreats, I harass. Ding dong. Su-yang was happily imagining the beauty of the cinema when his cell phone suddenly rang. When I took it out and looked at it, it turned out to be a message from Yangxia. My friend, what's going on with you guys? Are you ready to go to the movies? Har har har. It seems that this guy has always been very concerned about the movements of the two. She was afraid that her mother would suddenly come home and she would be caught off guard, and that would be the end of her. We just finished our meal. Auntie enjoyed it very much. She is going to the bathroom now. We will go to the cinema soon. Su-yang did not lie to Yangxia, but told her the actual situation. Auntie, very happy indeed. How could she not be happy if she just hugged and kissed him from time to time? Good. Great work, my friend. Then I'm relieved, brother. Ping Ping has also gone to the bathroom. We're going to take a break together later, watch a movie or something. Su-yang couldn't help but be stunned. Watch a movie. European and American or Japanese and Korean? Do you want to code? No. Is this kid's progress so fast? The progress is actually faster than my uncle. But you can't be too fast. You know it's easy to expose yourself like this. Oh no. Just let her be. I don't have any experience in this area anyway, so it's useless to worry about her. Okay, then my aunt and I will go to the cinema soon. If we feel sleepy, we can go and get a room together. If she is willing, we will not go back at night laughing. Su-yang smiled and sent the message. This is indeed what he really thinks. If you go home, Yang Shui might still have trouble sleeping. Since she can rest well in his arms, why not get a room? Even if he just holds her in his arms, she will have a good sleep, right? TSK, if you have the guts, just go ahead and let me see what you can do. Yangxia naturally didn't believe it. She just thought that Su-yang was just joking with her on purpose, just fantasizing. As an old friend, she didn't care about these jokes. Har har, you're right. I'll ask Auntie after the movie. If she's willing, we can get a king-size room together. If she's not willing, we can just go home. Fuck. Don't come back right after watching the movie. Didn't I tell you to take her shopping in the mall? Please, buddy. No, brother, the way Auntie looks at me right now, I feel a little weird. I'm worried that if we're together for too long, I'll be bullied laughing. TSK, just keep talking nonsense to me. If my mom really likes you, I will definitely say no. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Remember what I said, Ping Ping is here, that's it. Yang Xia's mind is now full of thoughts on how to deal with Xiu Ping Ping, so naturally he won't think much about the content of the conversation with Su Yang. Besides, she knew that her mother was a cold-assed person, so she didn't take Su Yang's jokes seriously at all. Besides, there is also the relationship with his father. So she thought that what Su Yang said was definitely a joke. All right. Su Yang smiled, turned off the screen and put his phone away. Believe it or not. Anyway, Yang Shui and I are already deeply in love. If you accidentally discover it one day, don't blame your friends for not telling you in advance. I will definitely prepare the fee for changing your statement, don't worry, your change of statement will not be in vain. Da. A crisp and familiar sound of high heels was heard, and Su Yang knew that Yang Shui had returned. So he stood up and prepared to leave with her. Let's go, dear brother. Yang Shui pushed open the door of the box, and Su Yang came over. Her delicate and pretty face is fair with an alluring pink hue. With slightly flickering eyes, she stared at Su Yang with a smile. Well, let's go, sister. It's getting late. As soon as he went out, Su Yang's arm was held by Yang Shui, and his hand was held by her with their fingers interlocked. They looked like a couple in love. After leaving the restaurant, the two drove away. Sister, please take a rest in your seat for a while. I'm worried that the noise in the cinema is a bit loud and you may not be able to rest well. After hearing what Su Yang said, Yang Shui couldn't help but laugh. Sister went to the cinema just to watch a movie with her brother. Let's not sleep. But I'm worried that you won't get enough rest. When we get home, you won't sleep well at night. Then how will you go to work tomorrow? In fact, Su Yang still felt sorry for Yang Shui. For such a large group, she has to personally take care of many important matters. Not only is she busy, but she must also be under a lot of pressure. If you don't get enough rest, you will feel very tired. It's okay, dear brother. How about, you sneak over to me and hug me to sleep at night? Yang Shui smiled shyly and reached out to pinch Su Yang's face. Okay. This. Happiness comes too suddenly. In an instant, Su Yang's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. If I really hold her in my arms while sleeping, can she really get a good rest? Shouldn't I be sleeping worse? Chapter 27, Couples Seat at the Youth Cinema. Looking at Su Yang's excited expression, Yang Shui couldn't help but smile shyly and twisted his waist. She was just joking to tease him. If it really comes. Although she was very happy, she was afraid of being discovered by Yang Xia, which would not be a good thing. The image of my mother, who has kept herself clean for so many years, would be completely ruined. From now on, I will even be unable to raise my head in front of my daughter. Isn't this a mess? Har. Su Yang couldn't help laughing and grabbed Yang Shui's little hand. So soft and warm, I can't touch it enough. At 5 minutes to 2 p.m., the two arrived downstairs at the cinema. Youth cinema. The two parked the car and walked in at a brisk pace. Sister, please wait a moment, I'll go buy some drinks. Arriving at the entrance of the VIP lounge for couples, Su Yang hurried over to buy drinks. After all, it's 2 hours. Chatting and kissing will inevitably make you thirsty, so drinks are a must. Forget about other snacks, after all, they had just eaten. Let's go, sister. As he said that, Su Yang took out the movie tickets from his pocket and passed through the ticket gate with Yang Shui. The movie has started. Su Yang and Yang Shui took advantage of the dim light of the screen and walked all their way to the back row, where they finally found their seats closest to the wall. There are specially designed seats for couples in the couples hall. Two people can get very close to each other, and it is very convenient to hug each other. My dear brother, the position you chose is really good. After the two sat down, Yang Shui took advantage of the darkness and put her arms around Su Yang's waist. Well. Yes, sister, it's quiet here, it's convenient for you to rest. Anyway, it was this position chosen by Yang Xia, and now it has benefited Su Yang and her mother. But he certainly couldn't say that this was Yang Xia's movie ticket, otherwise it might cause a series of problems. The sound of the film was quite loud, so the two could only speak quietly while getting close to each other. You and I talked back and forth, feeling each other's warm breath. My dear brother, when did you buy these movie tickets? Oh, I bought it yesterday when I was driving the Tank 300 for a spin. What's wrong, sister? Don't you like it? Anyway, I can't betray my old friends, so I can only talk nonsense. As for a ride, you can drive anywhere. It's perfectly normal to buy 2 movie tickets. Like. I never thought my good brother is so romantic. I haven't watched a movie in many years. Yang Shui hugged Su Yang's waist, put her head on his shoulder, closed her eyes, and didn't look at the movie screen at all. Sister, since you haven't watched a movie in so many years, why don't we watch one for a while? Sister can't see it. Yang Shui chuckled and hugged him tighter. All right. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. He put his left hand around her waist and patted her back with his right hand. It seems like he is coaxing a cute big baby to sleep. Okay, little Shui, let's sleep a little longer. Well. I feel so comfortable in my brother's arms. Now that you mention it, I feel a little sleepy again. Hearing Su Yang calling her Xiaoshui, Yang Shui couldn't help but scratch his waist quietly. This name is really familiar, but I haven't heard it for a long time. Now when Su Yang called her again, he always felt dazed. It even made her feel as if her body and mind were melted. Okay, let's get some more sleep. Su Yang changed his position to make Yang Shui sleep more comfortably. Actually, my sister used to stay up late often, but she has never been as sleepy as she is now. So, is there something wrong with your body? Su Yang couldn't help but feel a little worried when he heard this. Maybe she worked too hard in the past, which caused some health problems. No, I feel comfortable all over, especially in my good brother's arms. I feel so comfortable that I can't be more comfortable. Maybe it's because my sister has been in a tense state for so many years, but after meeting my brother, I relaxed all of a sudden, and then I felt tired. You know what, brother, I feel so lightheaded right now, so comfortable, but I still feel a little sleepy, har. As Yang Shui spoke, she couldn't help but yawn again. Then don't work so hard in the future, okay? Let's take more rest. Su Yang couldn't help but sigh secretly, and his heart felt a little painful. It has been really hard for Yang Shui over the years. It's okay to be a little busy at work, but the main thing is not to relax mentally, which is the biggest drain. Now that my good brother is here, I don't know why, but my body and mind seem to relax completely. Now I just want to hold you and have a good sleep. I want to make up for the sleep I missed in the past 18 years. Well, then, after we finish watching the movie, let's go get a room and then you can hold me and sleep. As Su Yang spoke, his heart couldn't help but beat wildly again. After hearing what he said, Yang Shui was silent for a while. Obviously, she was thinking about Su Yang's suggestion. My dear brother, your heart is beating so fast, tell me honestly, are you thinking about something bad? Being hugged by such a beautiful and lovely sister, it's certain that I'll have bad thoughts. But this is a movie theater, so at most I can only think about it. Su Yang chuckled, without feeling the slightest bit of embarrassment. Being with your closest lover, what can't you say? Besides, that bad thing, oh no, it should be called a good thing. Isn't it just a matter of time? So my good brother wanted to get a room. And then? Don't you like it, sister? I like it, of course I like it, but my brother is already my sister's, so I'm not that anxious. Yang Shui's answer was straightforward and she expressed her truest thoughts. After hearing her words, Su Yang couldn't help but smile knowingly. It turns out my sister did agree, she just wasn't that anxious. You can't eat hot tofu in a hurry. Good food is never too late. Actually, my main purpose was to let my sister sleep a little longer. You see, after we went home, I didn't dare hug my sister anymore. Regarding his old friend's request, Su Yang still thought that he must complete it beautifully. Chapter 28. Isn't he this just too happy? My dear brother, we can't go back too late. I don't know if that little girl Xiaoxia has returned home yet. After all, this was the daughter that Yang Shui had raised for more than 10 years, so she would naturally worry about her. How about we drive to the riverside after the movie? There's a wide view and fewer people there. How about we stay there until 6 o'clock and then go back? Obviously, although Yang Shui really wanted to, but she was still very rational. She was worried that once she checked into a room, she would probably lose control of herself and might not be able to come back home that night. But if this happens, there will be more troubles later. The main thing is Xiaoxia, she really hasn't figured out how to explain it yet. Okay, sister. Su-yang couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Whether or not to get a room is not the most urgent matter at the moment. The most important thing now is to help Yang Xia hold her mother back. She can't go back before 5 o'clock. What if Xiu Pingping hasn't left yet? Wouldn't Yang Xia be very embarrassed? Good brother, don't be anxious, okay? Let your sister rest for 2 days and recover her body, the two of us will. Don't play tricks when the time comes, brother, just watch how your sister swallows you. Yang Shui leaned over to Su Yang's ear and whispered softly with a shy smile. She did feel a little sore and weak all over, and still felt tired. After so many years of being tense, my spirit suddenly relaxed and my body felt like it had no strength left. Plus, I haven't slept at all in the past 2 nights. So, now she just wanted to hug Su Yang tightly, without thinking about anything else, and just get some good sleep. Okay, sister. I will be your pillow for the next few days. I hope you can recover quickly. Su Yang couldn't help but nodded. It was indeed not appropriate to be too radical in the current situation. Yang Shui has been tense for so many years. Once she relaxes, she really needs to get some good sleep. This is good for her health, too. As for the beautiful things he had in mind, maybe he will raise his hands in surrender first at that time. Then I will sleep for a while longer, dear brother, you are so nice. I like you so much. Yang Shui snuggled comfortably in Su Yang's arms, murmuring, and seemed to be about to fall asleep. Su Yang didn't say anything else, just hugged her gently. Really? After a while. From her even breathing, I could tell that Yang Shui in my arms had fallen asleep again. Su Yang maintained one posture and dared not move. Until the end of the movie. They didn't even have a sip of the drinks they bought, and he really wanted to go to the bathroom. The movie ended and the lights came on. Everyone went out one after another. Boo! Seeing that almost everyone had left, Yang Shui still showed no sign of waking up. Su Yang lowered his head and pecked her slightly curved mouth. Sister, wake up, the movie is over. Well. Yang Shui opened her eyes blankly, and after a moment she understood what was going on. It's over so soon. Let's go, husband. Yeah. Okay, wife. Hearing Yang Shui's name, Su Yang couldn't help but feel excited instantly. OMG. Yang Shui actually called him husband. This. Isn't he this just too happy? Poochie, dear brother. Only when Yang Shui heard Su Yang calling her wife did she finally come to her senses. It turned out that she had just had a very clear dream. In the dream, the two of them had just completed the 3 bows and were in the last step of the bridal chamber, and then she was awakened by Su Yang. It seemed that she was about to eat Su Yang, but in the end she woke up with regret. In her dream, she had always called Su Yang husband, so just now she slipped and called out husband. I just had a beautiful dream, and I almost ate you. If only you had called me a little later. Har har har. Su Yang couldn't help laughing. This is just a false dream. Won't it be more interesting to wait until my sister has had enough rest and then try something real? As they talked, they quickly left the screening room hand in hand. Anyway, neither of them knew what was going to be performed today. One person sleeps, one person watches another person sleep, and no one has time to watch a movie. Brother, didn't you get some sleep just now? No, my sister is so sweet and soft in my arms, I can't bear to sleep with her. The two came out of the cinema and walked towards the car hand in hand. Is it so comfortable to hug your sister? Yang Shui couldn't help but reach out and pinch Su Yang's face, her face full of happy smiles. Of course. I'm afraid there is nothing more comfortable in the world than this. Well then, let's go to Linjiang Avenue and take a drive there to relax. My dear brother, your arms must be numb after holding me for so long, right? As she said that, she reached out and massaged his arm. It's okay, sister, everything is okay. It does feel a bit sore. I always stay in the same posture and get tired easily. Give me the car keys. I'll drive. You can take a rest. Okay, no problem. When they arrived at the parking lot, Yang Shui got into the driver's seat and took Su Yang to Linjiang Avenue. Ding dong. On the way, Su Yang's cell phone rang slightly. I clicked on it and saw it was still a message from Yangxia. My friend, what's going on with you guys now? Did you go shopping? Wow. This guy is watching us really closely. Why go shopping? It's boring. We are on our way to the hotel, har har. TSK, are you kidding me? Buddy, I've run into a problem again. Give me some advice. Hurry up and tell me. I still don't dare to reveal my cards. I originally planned to tell her, but I still don't dare to say it. Yangxia planned to have some affectionate time with Xiu Pingping and then tell her the truth. But after the tenderness hugs and kisses and stuff, I don't dare to say anything more about what happened next. Why rush? Take your time. You have plenty of time anyway. But we have already kissed. Let's not talk about it anymore. Pingping went to the bathroom and came back. Let's talk later. Oh my god. They actually kissed. OMG. That scene is really unimaginable. Su Yang couldn't help but shudder. Forget it, let her be. He has no experience in this area anyway. Please add this to the bookshelf and urge for more updates. Please add this to the bookshelf and urge for more updates. Chapter 29. Why are you so attractive to my sister? Not long after, the two drove to Linjiang Avenue. The environment here is very good, and there are many specially designed parking spaces on the roadside. My dear brother, let's park the car here. Look at the river over there. When the sun shines on it, it looks like a mirror. How beautiful it is. Well, the environment here is really nice. Su Yang nodded and squinted his eyes to look at the river's surface illuminated by the sun. Beep beep. After Yang Shui stopped the car, she picked up her cell phone and called someone unknown. A moment later, the call was connected. Mom, are you still working overtime? Although the sound from the phone was very low, it was clearly audible. Then Yang Shui pressed the hands-free button. Mom didn't work overtime. Su Yang and I just finished watching a movie, our eyes are blurry. We'll just take a rest in the car and then go back. What about you? Are you still in school? What do you want to eat tonight? Mom will go back and make it for you later. Yang Shui's voice was still very gentle when she spoke to her daughter. He didn't ask any questions right away. Oh. Mom, I'll eat at school before I come back, so you don't have to bother me anymore. We finally have a weekend, why don't you just eat outside with Su Yang and come back later? Silly girl, you know how to care about your mother. That's good. You've made progress. Yang Shui couldn't help but chuckle after hearing what her daughter said. Of course. Mom works so hard, and as a daughter, I must learn to care about you. Yang Xia was smiling while talking on the phone, seeming to be serious yet also perfunctory. But I didn't hear anything unusual. If Su Yang didn't know what she was doing, he wouldn't have been able to tell that she was playing tricks. Har har. Okay, dear girl, then Mom will have dinner with Su Yang and then go back. Yang Xia's words really made her mother very happy, so Yang Shui agreed readily. In fact, she really wanted to stay alone with Su Yang for a while longer. Even though it's been from morning till now, I've been there for almost the entire day, and most of the time I've been in his arms. But her idea became stronger and stronger. Soon, the two ended the call. Good brother, come to the back with your sister. This kind of place suitable for flirting with S is usually more crowded at night. It's still early, so there are very few people on the Riverside Avenue. Yang Shui hooked her finger at Su Yang, and an indescribable look flashed in her eyes. Well. Su Yang was instantly struck by her eyes. In a moment, he became uneasy. Oh wow. This big sister's power is really too strong, isn't it? But it's broad daylight now. Although there are not many cars, they are very conspicuous. Once the car starts to shake, wouldn't it be easy to be discovered? But Su Yang just thought about it for a moment, and then went straight to the back seat from the front. His sister isn't worried, so why should he worry? Good brother. Sitting in the back seat, Yang Shui hugged Su Yang's waist again. Her eyes stared at him with burning eyes. Why are you so attractive to me? 18 years ago and now, you are still very attractive to me. And now you are even more attractive to me. I just want to stick to you and smell, my brother smells so good. Yang Shui narrowed her eyes slightly, leaned in Su Yang's arms, greedily sniffing the scent emanating from his body. So, does sister like me more because I'm younger? Suyang hugged Yang Shui tightly with his hands and gently smelled the fragrance of her hair. Are you saying that I like little boys? Actually, that's not the case. Before I met you, I had never been attracted to any boy. Whether it's a little boy or an old man, really, my sister has never thought about these issues. Maybe people who know me will think I am a cold person. Even I used to think so. However, after I met my good brother, I realized that I had been suppressing myself. How can I be ex-cold? Not at all. If it weren't for Xiaoxia, I would have given you away these past 2 days. Really good brother, sister likes you so much. As she spoke, Yang Shui twisted her body and reached out to touch Su Yang's face. Then there's his neck. After all, it was broad daylight, and Yang Shui was just teasing Su Yang. Now she feels that her body has not recovered yet, so it is not the best time. After so many years of tension, it will take 2 days to relax suddenly. My dear brother, I find that I can only sleep most peacefully when I am in your arms. If I sleep alone, I can't fall asleep for some unknown reason. You see, these past 2 nights, I kept thinking about you. I couldn't fall asleep until the early morning. My sister has to go to work tomorrow, what should I do? As Yang Shui spoke, she snuggled into Su Yang's arms again and closed her eyes. Why don't we go to the hotel and not go back at night? Yang Shui reached out and stroked Su Yang's face and couldn't help laughing. Although this proposal is very tempting, she doesn't dare to do it now. In Yang Xia's opinion, Su Yang is the son of her mother's good friend. If they stay out all night, it's really hard to explain. And now seems to be the wrong time to directly clarify the relationship between the two. Then why not I sneak over to you in the middle of the night, hold you until dawn, and then I'll go back. Yang Shui stroked his face without saying anything. He seemed to be thinking, as if he was somewhat moved. As long as you are careful, you shouldn't be discovered. But the two of them must remain silent, at least not make any strange noises. Otherwise, it would be easily exposed. Okay, sister? I just want you to rest early. I'm not thinking about anything else. Su Yang couldn't help but smile awkwardly. Anyway, he himself didn't quite believe it. As for whether something will happen, who can tell? He, Su Yang, is an 18-year-old boy with overflowing hormones. And Yang Shui is also at the best age, like a wolf and a tiger. Chapter 30. What's the point of being afraid? It's better to suffer pain sooner rather than later. Well, let's talk about it then. It was obvious that Yang Shui was indeed tempted. But in matters like this, we always have to consider the situation and put safety first. Yeah, okay, sister. Su Yang's heartbeat accelerated instantly when he heard this. He didn't know what would happen at night, nor who would be the first to lose control, but he just felt extremely excited. The two of them hugged each other intimately, looking at the scenery outside and chatting softly. Before I knew it, the sky gradually darkened. There were more and more cars parked around, and more people were strolling and playing on the roadside. Ding dong! Su Yang's cell phone suddenly rang, waking him up from the sweet and warm atmosphere. He quietly took out his cell phone and took a look. It was still a message from Yang Xia. My friend, have you and my mom finished your meal? It's almost 7 o'clock, I'm so hungry. Can you bring me some food? Good. Because he was hugging Yang Shui with one hand, it was not convenient to type with one hand, and he didn't want her to see it, so Su Yang only replied with one word. My dear brother. Hey, it's getting dark, shall we go back? At this time, Yang Shui also came back to her senses from the embrace of happiness. She looked outside and it was almost dark. But my sister hasn't eaten yet, are you hungry? It's okay, brother. I know there's a restaurant on the way back. The food there tastes good. I'll pack 2 dishes for us to take home, okay? It was getting late, so Yang Shui had no interest in eating out. She and Su Yang had been out for a day, and it would feel bad if they went back too late. And even now, Yang Shui still felt a little uneasy in her heart. We finished watching the movie at 4 o'clock, and it's already 7 o'clock. Okay, sister, let's take it back to eat. Xiaoxia probably eats dinner early, so let's buy some more. Well, my brother is so good. Let's go, sister will drive. I'm more familiar with that restaurant. As she spoke, Yang Shui reached out and touched Su Yang's face, then got down from the back seat and then got into the front driver's seat. Su Yang went straight to the front from the back. Boom! With the roar of the engine, Yang Shui drove the car quickly towards home. The two passed by a Chinese restaurant, and Yang Shui hurried in to pack up a few dishes. After picking up the food, he quickly rushed back home. When I got home, it was almost 8 o'clock and it was already dark. Mom, why are you back so late? When Yang Xia heard the door open, he walked out of his room. She looked at her mother with a calm expression, then at Su Yang who looked normal, and a hint of doubt flashed in her eyes. Well, Mom met an acquaintance on the way, and we chatted for a while. What's wrong, silly girl, do you miss Mom? Yang Shui looked at her daughter and smiled gently. But her heart felt a little weird. Unexpectedly, she also learned to lie to her daughter. But I can't tell the truth about this. I can't just say, your Uncle Su Yang and I were hugging and chatting on the Riverside Avenue. Oh, what did Mom buy? They smell so good. I ate a little early at school and now I'm hungry again. Silly girl, Mom knows you eat early, so I bought some more. Come on, wash your hands and get ready to eat. Yang Shui felt relieved when she saw that her daughter did not suspect anything. My friend, what's wrong with you? Su Yang and Yang Xia were washing their hands together in the bathroom outside. Seeing that she didn't seem to be in a particularly high spirits, he couldn't help but ask softly. Eat first, I'll tell you later. After washing his hands, Yang Xia went straight to the restaurant. Could this guy's true identity have been exposed in advance? And the result wasn't great. Su Yang looked at Yang Xia's back and couldn't help but mutter to himself. This kind of thing is not normal. Two girls. How can we get along well? When Newer created humans, she certainly didn't expect this kind of special change, right? After dinner, Yang Xia pulled Su Yang into his room and locked the door. Fuck. As soon as Su Yang entered the room, he immediately felt a huge change. Her room is so tidy and clean. Did Xiu Pingping help you clean this up? Not bad, not bad. Yeah, that's right. This little girl is really good at cleaning the house and cooking. She is definitely a good wife and mother. As Yang Xia spoke, a hint of pride was evident in his eyes. Really? Now that you say that, I envy you. Su Yang smiled and made a casual compliment. Oh. You envy me, don't you? I envy you. I also want to be a real man like you. What's wrong, buddy? Is this afternoon not going well for you? Looking at Yang Xia's slightly depressed expression, Su Yang couldn't help but ask with concern. This guy has always been very open-minded when encountering problems, what happened to him now? It went smoothly, but when I wanted to tell her the truth, I couldn't say it out loud. She thought I might not be sincere to her, she felt unhappy. That's it. Yes, my little Ping is unhappy. How should I comfort her in the future? Yang Xia pulled the stool beside her and asked Su Yang to sit down. How else can I coax her? For this kind of thing, I think it's best to just tell her the truth. Maybe she likes you. Su Yang thought about it and just expressed his opinion. What's the use of just coaxing? The longer you coax, the longer you deceive. Cheating on a girl's feelings, isn't that a bad idea? If the girl can accept it, then you two can go and have sex together. If the other person doesn't like this at all and instead likes a real man, then you'd better stop wasting your time. Actually, I thought so too. I wanted to tell her today, and we even hugged and kissed for a long time. But in the end, I still didn't dare to say it. Such a well-behaved girl is really rare, she is simply the best. I am so scared of losing her. What's the point of being afraid? It's better to feel the pain sooner rather than later. For things like this, I think it's better to talk about it sooner. Chapter 31. Why do you smell like my mother? Why? I know you're right. This kind of thing requires mutual consent. You can't lie to others. Otherwise, we'll have to separate sooner or later, and then everyone will be hurt even more. Yang Xia scratched his head, his face full of confusion. It is obvious that this guy really cares about Xiu Pingping. Otherwise she wouldn't care so much. After all, the relationship between you two is unique, so it's better to make it clear as soon as possible. Well, I'll think about it. Yang Xia was silent for a long time, and he knew that there was really no good solution. She is not Sun Wukong, and she cannot become a real man. What other good solution can she provide? Sniff. My friend, why do you smell like my mom? When we were watching the movie, we were so close to each other. Do you think I didn't smell like your aunt? Besides, Su Yang couldn't help but smile, and the image of Yang Shue's cute face in his arms instantly appeared in his mind. Especially the fragrant and soft feeling, it's really wonderful. Go on, what? Besides, Auntie fell asleep while watching, and then leaned on me. You say I was really embarrassed. Su Yang smiled awkwardly and scratched his head pretending to be embarrassed. So you didn't do anything to me, did you? Let me tell you, if you dare to do something like that, our brotherhood will end here. Fuck. I didn't dare to move for nearly 2 hours. What Su Yan said was indeed the truth. During the nearly 2 hours that I held Yang Shui in my arms, I did not dare to move, for fear of disturbing her sleep. Really? My mom is a great beauty. Really? I swear to God, I didn't dare to move. How about we call Auntie over to confront her face to face? Su Yang patted his chest, looking righteous and awe-inspiring. Okay, brother, I'm just asking you casually, why are you so excited? I was just joking with you. Har har. Of course I know, but Auntie does smell good. I'm leaving now, buddy. TSK. You just smelled it. If I gave you 10 times the courage, would you dare? What if I really dare? Su Yang couldn't help but sit down again after hearing that. Oh my God. Who are you looking down on, my friend? Just because you don't dare to do something doesn't mean I don't dare to do it. I am a real man. TSK, let me tell you, Su Yang, my mother really doesn't like men. If you really provoke her, you might be kicked out in the future. Even if it's the child of her best friend, I'm afraid it won't work. Don't say I can't help you then. No way. It's over, brother. Today when she was sleeping on my shoulder, I hugged her accidentally. It's over, she won't chase me away, right? Su Yang held back his laughter and pretended to be slightly scared. Holy crap. Really? Yeah, I just acted carelessly, I didn't do it on purpose. How long did you hug? How long? I can't remember clearly, it seems like a few seconds, a few minutes. I don't remember. Su Yang scratched his head and watched Yang Xia's expression change carefully. He actually just wanted to see where his buddy's bottom line was. What if she accepts to be her dad, then we don't have to be so secretive anymore. Wouldn't that be awesome? Oh my God. Yang Xia looked at Su Yang in surprise, his eyes full of disbelief. So when you were holding her, was she completely asleep? I don't know either, but after she moved a few times, I realized I was hugging her, and then I quickly took my arm away. This is really not my fault, I really don't know what's going on. Think about it, how could I dare to hug my aunt intentionally? Oh. Yang Xia nodded slightly, thinking. Then she should have fallen asleep and not known about this. Otherwise, she would have kicked you out. Damn it. I said you are so lucky, so annoying. Forget it, I don't want to care about your business. Ping Ping, what should I do? After Yang Xia finished talking about his mother and Su Yang, he quickly shifted his focus to Xiu Ping Ping. This is what bothers her the most. Calm down, calm down. Don't be so annoying, okay? We can talk about it slowly when we have the chance later. There's no rush. Well, it seems like this is the only way. The two chatted for a while, but still couldn't come to any conclusion. After leaving Yang Xia's room, Su Yang went to clean up and wash up, and went straight to bed when he was done. After holding Yang Shui for a whole day, my whole body was actually a little sore. Sister, did you take a break kiss? It's already past 10 o'clock in the evening, and it's almost time to go to bed. After all, Su Yang and Yang Xia have to go to school tomorrow, and Yang Shui has to go to work. A moment later, her message came back, very quickly. Not yet, dear brother, what are you talking about with Xiaoxia? You've been talking for such a long time. I've been waiting for you. What else can we talk about, just talking about games, and also because she's worried about you and asked me if I've done anything bad to you. Hey. My sister has been waiting for me. Did she want me to come over and hold her to sleep? Sister, can I go there now? Su Yang sent another message before Yang Shui replied. Don't wait, brother. Xiaoxia hasn't washed up yet. She always cleans up very late every day. Yang Shui seemed to sense Su Yang's impatience, and her face instantly became hot. If I let him hold me like this, will I still be able to sleep? Okay, sister. I'll wait for Xiaoxia to finish cleaning up and go to bed, and then I'll go over quietly. My dear brother, Xiaoxia asked you if you have done anything bad. What did you answer? Shy smile. Yang Shui did not continue to respond to the question of when to go to her room, but instead became concerned about the content of their conversation. I said I did it. I said. Auntie fell asleep while watching a movie, and I hugged her to make her sleep soundly. Su Yang couldn't help but smile and made some adjustments to what he had said before. Did you really say that? It's over, silly brother. It's okay. Xiaoxia didn't take it seriously after hearing it. Really? When Yang Shui saw the news, her heart was beating fast. Chapter 32, My sister can't sleep, what should I do? Yes, sister, Yang Xia said that you are a cold person and don't bother to care about my business. How can you say that to your mother, silly girl? I just haven't met the right person yet. But, judging from what she said, I guess she doesn't believe anything will happen between us. Well, that should be the case, but she didn't get angry when I said I was hugging you. Oh. Yang Shui pondered silently for a moment, and it seemed that her daughter's problem might not be a big problem. Tap tap tap. The two were chatting when they suddenly heard the sound of someone walking in slippers in the living room outside. Knock, knock, knock. Mom, are you asleep? It turned out that Yang Xia went to knock on her mother's door. What's wrong, girl? Do you have anything to say to your mother? Yang Shui opened the door, smiled, let her daughter into the room, and sat on the edge of the bed. Oh, nothing much, I just haven't seen you for a day and wanted to chat with you for a while. Silly girl. Seeing Yang Xia hesitant to speak, Yang Shui couldn't help but feel something in her heart suddenly moved. Could it be that this girl wants to ask about the time Su Yan hugged me? Well, I could also try to find out what she has to say. Come, mommy will chat with you for a while, my silly girl. Yang Shui smiled and reached out to stroke her daughter's short hair. Mom, I heard from Su Yang that you went to the movies with him. Yes, Mom saw that Su Yang was studying very hard, so she agreed to go with him to watch. Yang Shui couldn't help but smile slightly, and her expression looked very natural. But Mom only watched it for a few minutes, then fell asleep and slept until the end of the movie. Thanks to Su Yang, I actually used his shoulder as a pillow. As she spoke, her face couldn't help but turn slightly red. She said the latter sentence deliberately for Yang Xia to hear. She just wanted to see how her daughter would react. Oh. Mom, how dare you fall asleep, aren't you worried? Yang Xia couldn't help scratching his head as he spoke. In fact, she felt that her mother seemed a little strange these 2 days. When she spoke before, her expression was basically indifferent. But in the past 2 days, I can obviously feel that she smiles more often. And she actually went to a couple's cinema with Su Yang, and slept in Su Yang's arms for a long time. Silly girl, what should Mom worry about? Are you talking about Su Yang? Pfft. What are you thinking about, silly girl? Hey, I'm not thinking anything. I heard from Su Yang that he was hugging you when you were sleeping. Yang Xia and her mother were also a little cautious and deliberately strengthened what Su Yang said. She actually also risked her mother's anger. Oh? Really? I didn't know. Yang Shui couldn't help but pretend to be surprised, but there was no anger in her eyes at all. Looking at her mother's eyes, Yang Xia couldn't help but wail inwardly. Don't be fooled by this girl's usual careless appearance, she is actually very meticulous. Just by casually fooling around like that, I immediately knew the changes in my mother's mind. Then aren't you angry, Mom? I guess he was just joking with you. Mom was sleeping so soundly the whole time that she had no idea. Besides, he is also my son. He is just my pillow, why should I be angry? What are you thinking about, silly girl?